Boom! Boom! Long Fei's voice fell. The surface of the water suddenly burst open, splashing water everywhere as it rushed upwards and stopped in midair. In his hand was the Thunder Dragon Rod. Long Fei was shocked. Damn it! Just now, they were too busy killing the Murlocs that they forgot the Thunder Dragon Rod still on the surface of the water. The Island Lord smiled sinisterly and said, "I'll take this holy artifact." Finished. He directly swallowed the 2-meter-long Thunder Dragon Rod. Holy **T. Long Fei was furious. He took a step forward and roared, "Stop!" 3-rate Peerless Technique. Releasing his 8-fold elemental energy, Long Fei slashed down. Dark Dragon God Slash. The saber chopped down. He was extremely worried. Because of Fei. Feier is still inside the pearl. Could something have happened? Long Fei felt very guilty in his heart and said, "Feier, I'm sorry, it was my negligence, but I will definitely save you." The Island Lord smiled coldly and said, "Long family, back then Long Janting, was much stronger than you. This power of yours. Too weak." Whoosh! With a splash, the Island Master's palms faltered. 6 bestows of the 8 trigrams. Break! Lightning Strike rushed to Long Fei's side and struck down with his palm. Boom! Long Fei was struck into the stage, causing the stage to split apart. The chi and blood on his chest roiled, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. At this moment, Lin Yusheng frowned. "Open!" The white lotus flower in his body opened up a flower petal. His body started to tremble, and all the water in the pond was absorbed by him. Ripples of water. Lin Yusheng was pulled up by a surging spring. His hands formed a seal, and his idea fused into the water spirit. By Lian Kai, water world. My world. Open for me. Gulp. The water ripples that gathered around his body suddenly exploded, forming a world of water, like a gigantic water ball. It enveloped the Island Master. The Island Lord's face sank. This is the power of the White Lotus, the power of the domain, the water world. It's mine. This power is mine. His entire person became malevolent and wild. However, Lin Yusheng glared at him and said faintly, "This is my world, the world that I control. Now, I want to avenge my clan." Wang. The moment his power moved, he would be the master of everything in this water ball. He controlled everything in the water ball, including the island owner. Bam. Boom. Boom, boom. Lin Yusheng's fist struck crazily. The water ripples were like swords, crazily attacking the Island Master with the severed leg. Kill my clansmen? Die. Bam. His attacks continued to land on the Island Master's body, but the Island Master had no way of resisting. His strength, speed, everything was being controlled. All weakened, because this was the world that Lin Yusheng ruled over, the White Lotus water world. Long Fei looked up at the world of water balls in the sky and was extremely shocked in his heart. This is his power? Is it the power of a god? Water King Kong? Ha ha! Domain power. This power is too strong to explode. Indeed, this was the first time Long Fei had seen Domain of Power. Although it was only a water ball with a diameter of 3 meters, the moment one entered the water world of the White Lotus, they would be controlled by Lin Yusheng. The only flaw was the water ball was too small. Furthermore, it had to be inside the water ball. It was a hard wound. He could only control the power of water. If it was any place, Long Fei laughed excitedly. When he saw the Island Master's sinister smile, Long Fei's heart tensed up, and he reminded him, "Lin, be careful. Too weak. Too weak. Your White Lotus is too weak. It's basically useless against trash like you." Blood dripped from the corner of the Island Master's mouth as he sneered sinisterly. "Wah! The water world, the power of the domain. I've finally experienced it. The legends are true. The island master laughed out loud. Then his eyes turned sinister as he roared, "Break! Roar!" His body started transforming non-stop. The bones all over his body were transforming, becoming a giant, incomparably ugly fish more than 3 meters tall. His entire body was covered with dense, barbed spikes. The spike pierced through the water ball. At this moment, Walala, the water ball boundary broke. The island master with a broken leg suddenly landed in front of Lin Yusheng, laughed coldly, and said, "You're too weak. Give me your strength." Ha ha ha. With one hand, he grabbed Lin Yusheng, and the 2 barbed thorns on his palm directly pierced into his body. Puchi! Ah! Lin Yusheng let out a painful scream as it pierced through his bones and crazily absorbed the energy in his body. Long Fei took a step forward, and the dragon Salyer fiercely cut down. "Break for me!" Boom! A bone was broken, and a bright red number appeared above his head. At that moment, that broken bone also quickly regenerated. The island master did not care about Long Fei's attack at all. What he wanted the most now was the power of the white lotus in Lin Yusheng's body. He has the power of regeneration. We need to find his hood door, or we won't be able to kill him. Yan Huang ancestor warned. Long Fei thought, he has the power of regeneration. Why haven't his feet been reborn yet? Could it be that my father possesses the power to destroy and revive? Long Zhanting was his father. His father had been here before, and had even defeated the island master before. Without a doubt, his father had entered the immortal domain. Suddenly, Long Fei's mind went cold. The legs is his hood door? And then, Long Fei's figure descended, and fiercely slashed at his crippled legs. Ah! The island lord screamed. Damn it! More than half of his legs had been cut off, but it was regenerated in just a few seconds. No way! His thigh is also not his hood door. Long Fei's heart tightened. How in the world did father do it? Since his thigh isn't a hood door, then how was he able to prevent him from reproducing? What kind of power is this? It was clear that the island master's legs were not at the place where the hood door resided. However, why was it cut off by his father? If the power of regeneration could be cut apart, then just how strong was father? Yan Huang ancestor said lightly, "There is a type of profound meaning behind strength, lifting something heavy, as though it were light. Your father probably used this kind of power to cripple his legs, but this kind of strength, it's too hard to comprehend. I didn't expect your father's talent to reach such a level. It's too terrifying. To lift something heavy as though it were light." Long Fei didn't have the time to comprehend anything like lifting something heavy as though it were light. Right now, he wanted to save someone, wanted to save Fei, and said, "Ancestor, don't say these things. Tell me where the hood door is first." At this moment, Fei yawned. "I slept so well." Baby woke up. Why is it so dark now?" Master, where are you?" "Fei doesn't like it here. Fei wants to blow this place up." Chapter 28_8419/2356742. How do I break the power of regeneration? How do I break the power of regeneration? The profound truths of strength was something that could not be comprehended in a short period of time. Long Fei kept chopping, and chopping. The dragon spirit killer continued to be released, but the island master's power of regeneration was simply too strong. It was impossible to break it. Moreover, once again, he would recover some of his health. To kill him quickly was impossible, unless he found his hood door. "I'll cripple your hands first." He could not let Lin Yusheng continue to suffer. He is the god. Water King Kong, one of the 8 great Vajra. If he were to die, then the hidden attributes of the 8 Vajra body would be untouchable. 3-ray peerless technique. Full power. Long Fei held the dragon's salure tightly and slashed down. Ah! With both his hands chopped off, the island master let out a painful cry. His expression became even more sinister as he smiled excitedly. Do you think you can just cut off my hands? Ha ha ha. You don't even understand the power of my thorny demon fish. Continue absorbing. Ha ha ha. Lin Yusheng fell to the ground and smashed into the arena. His body was still trembling nonstop, and his energy was being absorbed like a ripple in the water by the island master. This is faster. Long family, do you feel good? The island master laughed wildly in pride and said, I've said it before, you're too weak. How can Long family have trash like you? Ha ha ha. I will absorb the power of the white lotus in his body first. Then I will turn your head around and find Long Zhanting. I will kill him. Crazy. He was filled with arrogance and pride. Long Fei was also secretly anxious. Hood door. Where's the hood door? Dragon chop. He unleashed his berserk slash with 360 degrees without a blind spot, slashing out with more than 480 slashes. Long Fei carefully observed every slash carefully, and his damage output was surprisingly uniform. This proved that these 400-odd places were not his hood door. Could it be inside his body? Long Fei's heart tightened. The island master's body was covered in reborn thorns. The faster he cut, the faster he grew. Lin Yusheng was completely suppressed, and the water energy on his body was frantically being absorbed, and he was completely unable to endure it. Quickly run! Don't worry about me. Quickly run! Ha ha ha! Flee! The island lord became excited as he said, the beast battling arena is just a huge boundary. Where can he escape to? You won't be able to escape. 3 days ago, this was how I sucked all of your god's water tribe's clansmen into mummies. The power of water in my body is now even stronger than your god's water tribes. I only need the power of the white lotus in your body. Laughter. Incomparable excitement. Long Fei was incomparably furious, but his heart was incomparably calm, and he thought to himself, there must be something I have neglected. There must be something I have not noticed in the east. Where is it? Where is it? Where exactly is the hood door? At this moment, Feier's voice connected to Long Fei's idea. Feier is very angry, so the consequences will be very serious. I'm going to blow him up. Long Fei's mind tightened, and he immediately started laughing excitedly. Blast it! Feier, use all of your power to blast it open. Ha ha ha! As soon as he finished, Long Fei flew out and stared at the island master with a cold smile. The island master looked at Long Fei with a disdainful smile. Trash, there's no other way, right? Ha ha ha! Even a trash like you can hurt me? At this moment, his face suddenly darkened as he looked at his own stomach. His pupils constricted with incomparable fear as he said, No, no, no. Rumble, rumble. The rage of Feier was released from his body, and 100,000 volts of electricity explosively struck down. It used to be outer and inner, but now it was inner and outer. 6 digits of damage crazily shot out from the top of his head. Feeling good. Long Fei laughed excitedly. Are you still cocky? F***CK. It was a violent mess. The island master rolled on the ground continuously as the lightning from his entire body constantly shot out. His mouth, eyes, and ears, they all shot out lightning. There was only one place. Long Fei's face tensed up. Could that be a hood door? It can't be. This is two. Half a minute later, as the lightning energy disappeared, Fei was like a deflated balloon as she muttered, "Your baby is tired. Your baby needs to rest. Wait for your baby to sleep for a while before calling you to kill you." Do. Finished. Fei curled up together and fell asleep. 100,000 volts. She had used up all her energy. She fell asleep right away, not even having time to greet Long Fei. Huff, huff, huff. The island master was panting like an ox. The power of regeneration in his body began to regenerate as he recovered quite a bit of his HP. He asked, "You want to kill me?" "Ha ha, what other tricks do you have?" Just now, the explosion of 100,000 volts of lightning had caused him unbearable pain. If it had continued for another half a minute, he might have really collapsed. But now, when the lightning disappeared, he was alive again. The island master felt the thunder dragon rod in his body and saw that it had completely quieted down. He became excited and said, "There's no other way, right?" "Ha ha ha, I am immortal." Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "Eternal life? You will never be able to comprehend my power in your entire life. Even if Long Zhanting was in front of me, I could still easily trample him to death." "Is that so?" As soon as he finished, Long Fei stood in front of him. The island master did not place Long Fei in his eyes at all and said with a sneer, "Come." In that instant, Long Fei's figure disappeared and turned, appearing right behind him. Inulan Dragon Salyer. The knife stabbed forward. He dived into the island lord's chrysanthemum. Then, the dragon Salyer turned, and like a poisonous dragon's drill, it started to spin. Just now, there was no lightning at this place, so this place could very well be where the hood door resided. In that instant, his face was pale, and he howled out in pain like a pig being butchered. After so many years of training his power of regeneration to the 9th stage, he was only one stage away from being able to regenerate his entire body without any hood door. But now it was the 9th level. His chrysanthemum was the last. Long Fei looked at the damage floating above his head, grinned, and said, "I'll stab your chrysanthemum." Bam! Equals half carat float. Hashtag life carat. Bam. Once the hood door was destroyed, his HP crazily fell. At this moment, Lin Yuxing forgot the pain in his body, but instead he felt the chrysanthemums tighten and muttered, "I told you he had a special hobby." Chapter 38_8419/2356743. One poke, one slap. One poke, one slap. Another stab, and a twitch. What was stabbed out was blood, and what was pulled out was also blood. The island master had no power to resist. Broken hood door, broken all over. The blood on top of his head was quickly drained. Finally, Long Fei suddenly moved. Blast your ass. Explode. Boom. Within the pearl, Fei gently opened her eyes and looked at Long Fei. She gave a light smile and then closed her eyes again. Release your striking attribute. Long Fei moved and released 100 points of striking energy value. The system beep rang. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Yuling Island Lord for obtaining an experience point, true chi point, energy values point, and contending for a hegemony of 900 points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining power of regeneration. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining imitation Juga sword. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Zhuge Sword blueprint. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Feather of the Spirit. Power of regeneration. Long Fei's heart tightened. Thinking of the island master's terrifying regenerative powers, his heart trembled. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for fusing power of regeneration. You have gained 100 experience points, 100 true chi points, and 100 points. Strength, power of regeneration description. Possesses the ability to recover health point. Description 2. When the player's health point drops to 100, it will automatically recover 1,000 points. Description 3. Can only be used once a day and cannot be reused. Ha ha ha. Long Fei started laughing excitedly and said, then it's equivalent to giving me half a life more. 1,000 health point wasn't a small amount to him. And then Long Fei continued to look and muttered, I knew it was a copy of the weapon. If it really is a Zhuge sword, then we'll be rich. Ancestor, I'll reward you. Long Fei did not check the properties of the imitation Zhuge sword because it was disdainful. Yan Huang Ancestor was stunned, then said, Ha! You actually did it once. With that, he threw the imitation Zhuge sword into his mouth and excitedly laughed. Although this Zhuge sword is a replica, its strength can still be considered high quality among the holy artifact, and is not weaker than a sword among the Xianming sword. Long Fei was immediately dumbstruck, looking at the remaining half of the Zhuge sword. He wanted to cry, but had no tears to shed. He could only act tough. A mere high-ranked holy artifact is nothing. I don't care. When he spoke, his liver ached. He felt incomparable regret, because at most it would be a knockoff item. How would he have expected it to be a superior grade holy artifact? Yan Huang Ancestor slightly said, This Yuling Island Lord is a sword crafting master. Do you know how much power the holy artifact used? No less than 1,000. 1,000? Long Fei was tongue-tied. Holy shit, 1,000 pieces. What does that mean? It was hard to imagine. What did 1,000 holy artifact mean? Long Fei secretly tensed up and said, Don't tell me pirates earn so much money? The Yan Huang Ancestor said slightly, There are billions of islands in the South Horizon region. If any expert wants to enter the immortal domain, they must pass by here. How many young talents, geniuses, and sect masters of powerful sects do they have 1 or 2 holy artifacts with them? Only they never dreamed that they would die here. The bones in the pool have formed a mountain. You can see how many people have died. You little brat, it seems like you have gotten great merits by eliminating all the harm in name. The Yan Huang Ancestor said indifferently. Long Fei was also extremely shocked in his heart and asked, Ancestor, you said that he used 1,000 holy artifacts to forge an imitation. What kind of situation is this? Yan Huang Ancestor said, Your space ring has a blueprint for the sword. It should be the blueprint for the Zhuge sword. This blueprint is something that any swordsmith would dream of. It is the best of the true divine rank. It is also the only blueprint for the Zhuge sword. The only possibility is that the Zhuge sword fell into the immortal cliff. It is just a lie. Actually, it was destroyed by a wave of power. To recreate the Zhuge sword, you need this blueprint and also have to find the Zhuge sword fragments in order for the Zhuge sword to shine back to the world. It is too difficult. Zhuge sword, the strongest supreme artifact in the immortal domain. Even people in Chaos Realm had heard of these things. Moreover, the Zhuge sword was slightly stronger than the Dragon Salyer, and it had appeared even earlier in the Sky Martial Continent. It could be said that before the Dragon Salyer appeared, the Zhuge sword had already fallen. Long Fei's heart tensed up and asked, In the end, what kind of power is able to destroy the Zhuge sword? Who didn't want the supreme artifact? How could someone destroy him? Yan Huang Ancestor laughed lightly, because he's too strong. In the world of martial artists, everyone pursues the most powerful and holy power. Zhuge's sword is too strong. He caused countless massacres, and billions of experts died for him. It can be said that it is a devil's sword, a peerless devil's sword. As for what power will destroy it, I'm not too sure either. There is a rumor that it is the power of the outer world. A giant god saw it and was unhappy with it, so he ended up destroying it. There are also rumors that it was destroyed on its own. I'm not sure. The Yan Huang ancestor said seriously, Yu Ling Island Lord was bewitched by this blueprint, and he frantically wanted to refine it. Kid, this is a demonic diagram, and also a path of no return. Don't be tempted by it. It's best if you destroy it. Hee hee, Long Fei laughed. I am a demonic cultivator. Why should I be afraid? It should be him who is afraid of me. Zhuge's sword. If he's as strong as the legends say, then I'll definitely make him shine again. At this moment. Ding. Congratulations, player, Long Fei, for completing the Feather of the Spirit mission. You have received 100 million experience, 500,000 true chi, and a special reward of 3 times. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, War Master Level 3. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining special reward. Long Fei moved and opened the gift pack in the system. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward. Level +1, current level, War Master Level 4. At the same time, the system once again sounded out the system's notification for completion. Ding. Congratulations, player Long Fei, for completing hegemonical mission with a reward of experience points, true chi points, 1,000 points, and 100 points. Quest score. A level, unable to obtain special rewards. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining more than 100 points. Would you like to exchange it for a special item? Exchange. Long Fei didn't have any hesitation. It was also at this time. Sister-in-law, 1-/ plus health, strongest upgrade system. A huge will appeared in his mind and started spinning crazily. Finally, the needle stopped at one place. Level +1. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at War Master Level 5. Long Fei looked at the items on the spinning wheel and started boiling as he muttered to himself, I want to draw big prizes. I want to draw big prizes. Chapter 48_19/2356744. Turn around. Turn around. Power of full mastery. Buddha palm technique. Fushi blood vein. Thunder god hammer. The turntable was densely packed with all sorts of things. What holy artifact did they not have? Everything. Seeing these, Long Fei immediately checked the number of times he had drawn the lottery. 5 times. I can smoke for free 5 times now. If I can get a Fushi blood vein, I can't. If this goes on, my little heart won't be able to take it. Long Fei was extremely excited. The Fushi blood vein wasn't the best item. However, there were good items on the wheel, as well as a bunch of trash such as rank 1 spirit pills, rank 1 magic weapon, and an enormous thank you for participating. Just as Long Fei was about to try the lottery draw, the array formation above the beast fighting arena was suddenly destroyed by a force. An old man stood in midair and looked at Long Fei, who was still seated cross-legged on the other side. At this moment, Lin Yoxing's power was truly frantically being absorbed back. Not only was it his power of heavenly water, the power of the entire God's water tribe. They rushed into his body as if they were not under his control, causing his strength and aura to increase rapidly. The old man was like a god. and the aura around him was that of the ethereal realm. Immortal, the immortal of immortal domain. Long Fei's mind tensed up and retreated half a step to protect Lin, Yusheng behind him. Yen, Huang ancestor said, his strength is more than 10 times stronger than you. If he wants to kill you, perhaps he can do it with just one finger. The elder smiled and said, don't be afraid. I have no relationship with this island. The reason I came down was to ask you if you would follow me. When the Yen Huang ancestor said that, Long Fei's entire being was boiling. More than 10 times stronger than me? If I kill the immortals in the immortal domain, how high would I be able to rank up? Long Fei was like a madman. However, this was just an idea, because in front of an immortal stage ranker, he was not even an ant. Long Fei naturally did not dare to try. He still wanted to live for a few more years, and said, follow you? Where to? The old man said, God Emperor Academy. As soon as he finished, Long Fei was obviously startled when he saw the symbol on the old man's chest. It looked like a heaven character, but in the middle of the heaven character, there was an incomparably sharp sword. It was like a sword that could shake the heavens, a sword to press down the heavens. This kind of imposing manner, this kind of tyranny probably only existed in God Emperor Academy in the entire Sky Martial Continent. Very powerful. The mark on his chest alone was enough to faintly shake Long Fei's mind. The stands were even more in an uproar. God Emperor Academy? Is it really the God Emperor Academy? Isn't it a scam? Long Fei also said, when we were fighting for supremacy, I said that whoever wins would get a spot in the God Emperor Academy's assessment. With you? The elder smiled and said, the rule of the competition is that only one person remains. Since you are two, I will make an exception and accept both of you. What do you think? He had nothing to do with the person who had pretended to be the God Emperor Academy. His heart was filled with joy as he saw the potential of Long Fei and Lin Yusheng. Long Fei was slightly shocked and said, I'm not interested. Huh. The elder frowned slightly and said, do you know what God Emperor Academy means? I don't know. However, the thing I hate the most is studying. I've never been able to pass any university since I was young. I'm really not interested in any at all. Long Fei acted exceptionally arrogantly. God Emperor Academy, the strongest academy in a mortal domain. In the past 100 years, there had not been a single person in the South Horizon region who had passed the examination to enter the God Emperor Academy. He actually refused. However, Long Fei also felt extremely bitter in his heart. Would Xie Qin, who had gone to the God Emperor Academy, still be able to save him? Do you want to step on Hong Tianjun? He simply could not do anything about going to the immortal domain. Thus, he refused in a very pretentious manner. His rejection was awesome. The old man said indifferently, God Emperor Academy is the #1 academy in immortal domain. Are you sure you want to reject? With your current cultivation, you will not even qualify to enter the God Emperor Academy, even if you were to cultivate for another 100 years. Now that I have broken through the barrier to promote you, this will be the best chance you will ever have in your entire life. You want to refuse? Indeed, just as he said, it was too difficult to enter God Emperor Academy. However, what he said made Long Fei very unhappy, and he said, you can't even enter after cultivating for 100 years. A mere God Emperor Academy is nothing in my eyes. Acting cool, this old man is even more pretentious. The old man's gaze slightly tightened. He really did like Long Fei, and liked the hard work that Long Fei had put in, so there would always be surprises on his body. In Long Fei's battle with the fishmen, she had surprised him time and time again. Furthermore, Even he could not understand the techniques that Long Fei had used. He really liked her, which was why he had the heart to love her. When Long Fei rejected him, he was slightly unhappy. What did God, Emperor, Academy's invitation mean? Even if you are a peerless genius, you probably don't have the qualifications. The elder's eyes grew cold as he said, "Do you know the consequences of rejecting me? No one has ever dared to refuse me." The sound of it sinking was like a violent strike. He did not release any of his strength, but... However, Long Fei felt a great pressure crush on his mind, and it felt very uncomfortable. Long Fei laughed disdainfully. "What? If you can belittle me, can't I belittle God, Emperor Academy? Underestimate the God, Emperor Academy. Is this person crazy? God, Emperor Academy is the warrior temple. Are you underestimating him? Are you qualified?" Many people began to curse. It was because Long Fei had humiliated the sacred hall in their hearts. The old man laughed with great interest. "How do you say you can pass the examination so easily?" Long Fei arrogantly replied, "Of course." He had to go to the immortal domain. He wanted to find his father. His father must have gone to the immortal domain, so he could only go there to find him now, but not now. The old man started laughing and said faintly, "Good, good, good. I'll be waiting for you. If you can pass the God, Emperor, Academy's examination with ease." Long Fei said strongly, "How is it?" The old man smiled and said, "It doesn't matter to you." Long Fei said, "All right, when the time comes, I want you to be my follower and call me boss." "Huh. Ha ha ha." The old man laughed out loud, looked at Long Fei, and said, "Sure." And then the elder slightly moved and said, "Little guy, I'll be waiting for you." Just when he was about to leave, Lin Yusheng suddenly said, "Senior, can you take me away?" The old man stopped, looked at Long Fei, then looked at Lin Yusheng. Your cultivation is not considered outstanding, but the strength in your body is not simple and should barely be up to the standards of a God Emperor Academy student. But whether you can pass the assessment will depend on your luck. Lin Yusheng replied heavily, "Thank you." Then Lin Yusheng looked at Long Fei, gritted his teeth, and said, "My path is different from yours. God's water tribe is destroyed, and I bear the heavy responsibility of rising to prominence in God's water tribe." Ding! The system had sounded out a notification sound. Long Fei did not dare to listen, because this was likely to be the notification sound of the 8 Great King Kong missions that had failed. Chapter 5. Thank you for your support, and thank you, brothers, for your support. According to the agreement, you don't need to add anything more on March 1st, but Haiyang will still add a bit more to express her thanks and everyone's support. No need to bother with the comments about the attacks in the book circles. I will only write a reply for those who like to read it. Those who don't like it, please leave. Haiyang will kneel down to you. Leave. Thank you very much. I've wasted your money again. Sorry. 8_8419/2356745. Everyone chose a different path. Everyone chose a different path. Long Fei could not force his own path onto others. No matter what choice Lin Yusheng made, he would respect them because this was his path. However, his heart was still tight because he did not want to see the 8 Great Vajra become 7 Great Vajra. Moreover, he could also confirm that Lin Yusheng was the god, Water King Kong of the 8 Great Vajras. The system's voice rang out. Long Fei was a little nervous in his heart, but he still calmly faced it. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the god, Water King Kong of the 8 Great Vajra quest. Hearing that, Long Fei became excited. As for what the reward was, it was no longer important. The important thing was that the 8 King Kong systems had completed it, which meant that Lin Yusheng was one of his 8 Great King Kong. Actually, when Lin Yusheng finished speaking, he said in his heart, Thank you, boss. Because of this sentence, the system had determined that he had completed the quest. That was the key. Lin Yusheng looked at Long Fei and said, I want to choose my own path. If God's water tribe is not destroyed, I will follow you, but Long Fei smiled faintly and said, Understood. Go to God Emperor Academy. Lin Yusheng looked at Long Fei and said again, I'm sorry. Long Fei laughed and put a hand on his shoulder, then said, You don't have to be so courteous after following me. Be a good boy at God Emperor Academy. Maybe one day I will even follow you. Lin Yusheng looked at Long Fei's hand on his shoulder, and his body sank. He immediately moved to the side, and with a look of fear, he said, Big bro, I really don't have any hobbies in that area. The elder said lightly, Let's go. Lin Yusheng nodded and said, Senior, please. The old man looked at Long Fei and said once again, You still have a chance to choose right now. Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei interrupted him and said, Old man, you can just give up on this idea. I won't be going now when I want to go. He. You just wait and be my follower. Also, he is my brother. You must take good care of him, for me. The elderly looked at Long Fei's confident expression and laughed, then said, All right, I'll be waiting for you at God Emperor Academy, kid. You must come at all costs. The aura on his body moved, and he was sent flying. Long Fei looked at the two people in the sky and said, I will definitely go. Lin Yusheng hesitated for a moment, then said, Boss, thank you. Finally, he hesitated for a moment before saying, What kind of hobby is it to be able to stop or to stop? There's simply no good ending to it. Long Fei. Before he left, he still firmly believed that Long Fei was a gay. Long Fei was also speechless. On the stands, everyone was looking at Long Fei. Little brother, it's such a pity God Emperor Academy's invitation is definitely not ordinary. How could you just give up like that? That is an invitation from the God Emperor Academy. It would be great if you could give it to me. The tempo of a candidate stealing a spot in the exam, and yet he still gives up. I wonder if he's brainless or has a cramp in his head. Unable to understand. There were so many people who refused the invitation of the Immortal Domain's #1 academy. They would never be able to find an opportunity in their entire lives. Long Fei rejected him without even thinking. There was no need to explain how awesome one's life was. Long Fei never regretted it. The God Emperor Academy would never leave. He would always stay in the Immortal Domain with Hong Tianjun and the heavens. With 3 years of time, there was still a year of time if he did not screw Hong Tianjun over. Even if he had to go to the heavens, he would definitely refuse. Long Fei's gaze swept across the stands and found that the scarecrow and the tree spirit had already disappeared. Finding them in the Yuling Island was definitely not an easy task. Long Fei still had some important matters to take care of, so he muttered in his heart, I'll let you guys off for now. Ice and Fire. Understood. When the Ice and Fire Association came out, Long Fei took a step forward and said, Target Sea Demon City. Looking at Long Fei flying in the sky, the scarecrow and tree spirit who were hiding in the shadows exhaled a deep breath of air we need to cultivate, or we'll be in trouble the next time he comes back. And cultivate a big move. In another place, on the way to Immortal Domain, Lin Yusheng followed behind the old man quietly and did not say a word. The old man seemed to be deep in thought as he muttered, How much do you know about him? Lin Yusheng was startled for a moment and answered, Not really. I only know that he was very strong, that he had saved me, that he was my boss, and that his name was Long Fei. The old man laughed blandly. His name is Long Fei, and his father is Long Zhantian. He is a member of the Fireglass City S, and he is holding the supreme artifact of the southern region in his hands. The girl he likes has been snatched away by the #1 genius Hong Tianjun of the South Horizon region. We have an appointment of 3 years old, and right now, half the time has almost passed. The old man seemed to be extremely familiar with Long Fei. He knows all about these years. Lin Yuxing was stunned. The agreement of 3 years, the Heaven Sect, the #1 genius in the entire South Horizon region. Hong Tianjun? And then Lin Yuxing secretly clenched his fists and thought, "Boss, I will also attend the 3-year agreement. At that time, I will definitely come to the Heaven Sect as a student of God Emperor Academy, and will definitely help you." Lin Yuxing looked at the old man's thoughtful expression and asked, "Senior, how do you know so much? Your identity in God Emperor Academy is—" The old man replied, "His information has been in the God Emperor Academy for a long time. As for how I found out, it's a secret that I can't tell you for now. As for my identity, God Emperor Academies, the former president. Boom. Don't lose him." He didn't think about it. What he thought about was, if boss can pass the examination easily, then wouldn't the former principal want to be his follower? Oh my God. The former dean, God Emperor Academy. What kind of concept was this? It was hard to imagine. Moreover, Lin Yuxing had a feeling that he came specifically for Long Fei. It was just that. Who would have thought that Long Fei would actually reject it? And it was because of Long Fei that Senior had set his eyes on him. So unknowingly, Long Fei owed him another favor. Lin Yuxing secretly vowed in his heart, "Boss, I will definitely rush to your 3-year agreement. I will definitely help you get everything back." There was still more than a year left. He wanted to repay this debt of gratitude. The old man looked into the distance and faintly smiled. He muttered to himself, "Everything is as he expected." In another place, at this moment, http://Long Fei passed the heart of the tree, the dragon's blood, and the spiritual feather to the Yen Huang ancestor and said, "I've gathered all the items for you. You handle the rest." Now that the 3 things were all here, it was time to let the Dark Crow King evolve into a 9 secret underworld finches. However, Long Fei's current thoughts were not on the 9 secret underworld finches, but rather it was swallowing its saliva, wiping his hands with a wretched face. He said, "I finally have time to draw." Chapter 18_8419/2356746. He wanted to draw in Yuling Island. Only the old man from God Emperor Academy appeared and interrupted his lottery draw. It would be great if he could get a few more peerless godly weapons and treasures before he entered the underworld. Immediately, Long Fei dove head first into the lottery system. As for how the Yen Huang ancestor would allow the 9 secret underworld finches to evolve, he was indeed interested, but he didn't want to interfere too much with what the Yen Huang ancestor was doing. It was just like how a good friend would avoid pressing the password when they were collecting money from an ATM. "Big lottery draw. I'm here." A huge wheel appeared in his field of vision. On the turntable, Long Fei couldn't help but become excited. Good. If you can get me one, hee, that would be great. Ha ha. Ding. Do you want to start the lottery system? Activate. Ding. Notification. The number of players who have drawn the lottery for free will be reduced by 1. It was also at this moment, with Long Fei's click, the wheel started to spin crazily. After a minute, it started to slow down and slowly move. Panga's axe. It's over. Nuwa, heaven mending rocks. It's over. Heaven flipping seal. It's F*King over there again. Good. Fushi blood vein. Stop. Quickly stop for me. Long Fei jumped up hurriedly. At the same time, he became excited with a red face and a thick neck. Fushi is the human emperor. His blood vein is the human emperor's blood vein. That would definitely be great. It's going to stop, it's going to stop. Finally, the system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations, player Long Fei. Thank you for participating. Damn it! Long Fei scolded loudly. Is there anyone that can scam others like you? Do you think this is just for buying drinks? Thanks for your patronage. Ding! Do you want to continue the lottery draw? Continue. Long Fei raised his sleeves and said, I won't do. At this moment, the items in the wheel were refreshed. There were some that appeared last time, but there were also some that came out. F***CK. What the hell is a 7-dragon pearl? Scion mode. What's the situation? Long Fei muttered. Do you want me to summon the dragon god to fulfill my wish? Activate. The wheel spun again. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk this time. Long Fei used all his strength to turn the wheel into a raging fire. It spun crazily for a full 10 minutes before stopping slowly. Scion, Scion. When the needle passed through Saya like an ant, thanking the person for his participation, Long Fei wanted to die so much that he kicked it out. However, he could not step onto the lottery wheel set up by the system. Ding! Congratulations, player Long Fei. You have received thanks for participating. Do you want to continue? Long Fei's entire being turned bad. Damn you, my luck is that bad. Thank you for participating twice in a row. I don't believe it. Let's do it again. The item on the wheel was refreshed again. However, that big thank you participation is always so big, so dazzling. What lottery draw! It was a huge pit. This time, Long Fei did not immediately activate it. He clasped his hands together, and with his eyes filled with incomparable piety, he said, Big Sister Guan Yin, Tathagata has arrived in the Lord of Buddha, the heavenly divine Buddha. Please bless me this time. Let me draw something good. He opened his eyes and bellowed, Activate! The wheel began to turn again. The roulette slowly stopped, and then Long Fei's eyes darkened, his eyes almost turning white as he said, as if foaming at the mouth, I don't believe it anymore. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for getting a grade 1 elixir. It was just a fighter out of trash. Long Fei threw the spiritual herbs into the sea. Can you try to cheat me a little more? That's not right. The person I was asking for was wrong. In that instant, Long Fei exhaled and muttered, Force my enlargement stroke to be? All right. Long Fei's heart sank as he fiercely roared, Old Master, bless me. The lottery draw turntables started on the 4th level. The wheel started spinning crazily. 1 minute later, ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for drawing a 2nd rank yellow rank short sword. Long Fei was bitter and weak all over, and said, Old Master, I have so many of your treasured collections, limited edition, and all sorts of collected editions. How can you give me up like this? Short sword. Short your head. Long Fei took it out and threw it into the ocean. Because of his strong power, he killed a level 3 sea goblin immediately. Long Fei was also extremely puzzled. Seeing that there was only one free lottery draw left, Long Fei muttered, Big Bro had to earn these free lottery draw a few times already and almost lost my life. System, can you be more deceptive? Who? Long Fei stood still, looking at the wheel that was refreshed again. The idea moved. Last time, whip for me. This time Long Fei did not beg. Instead, he stared at the wheel, waiting for the needle to slowly move. Suddenly, Long Fei's pupils shrank rapidly as his entire body trembled. 3-rate peerless Technique. He released his 8-fold elemental energy. Long Fei suddenly roared, Demacia! Boom! He didn't know if it was because he said that Demetia had an impact on the needle or because his shout scared the system, but the pointer on the wheel moved slightly. This was it. Thanks for your participation. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for drawing Heart Sutra. Huff. Long Fei let out a long sigh and muttered, "Finally, I managed to draw out a decent thing." Long Fei's little heart could not bear it. And then Long Fei quickly opened up the system to check. Secret skill, Heart Sutra grade, divine, consumption, 100 true chi points per second cooldown. None description, Heart Sutra, the power to suppress devils and refine ghosts. Once released, it is akin to the possession of the simulacrum of Kitagarbha. All attacks of the player will deal multiple times the damage to the demon. Description 2, Heart Sutra. Description 3, Heart Sutra has the power of purification. It can purify the evil thoughts within evil spirits, and the evil thoughts refined will be absorbed by the player and become a wish. Long Fei's heart moved slightly as he thought to himself, "The system is really considerate to me, knowing that I have to go to the underworld. Hee hee. Cultivate." And then Long Fei thought back to the results of his previous 4 draws, and looking at the level 4 treasures on the roulette, he could not help but scold out, "Carrying your head, if you give me another good thing, will I die?" Would a Saya transformation result in death? At least some Pangu bloodline or something. There were too many grievances towards Long Fei in the lottery. Ding. Do you want to continue? Chapter 2. Table of Contents 8_8419/2356747. The system sounded out once again. If they were to continue, it would be deducting their 100,000 points. The system sounded out once again. If they were to continue, it would be deducting their 100,000 points. Long Fei was immediately angered and said, "Continue your sister. I might as well go and play with the fishing machine." At this moment, Long Fei moved and said to the Yen Huang ancestor, "Ancestor, is it done yet?" The old patriarch did not respond. Just as Long Fei put away the idea and was about to exchange his points for the fishing machine's bullets, a sound came out from inside the broken pubes. Yen Huang ancestor said weakly, "It's about time. We just have to wait for him to evolve himself." Huh. Long Fei's heart sank and said, "Ancestor, what's wrong?" Yen Huang ancestor smiled indifferently. "Nothing. I just used too much strength. I need to rest for a while." He was like an old man who had run out of energy. He didn't even have the strength to speak. As soon as his voice faded, it was as if the Yen Huang ancestor had disappeared into Long Fei's body, and he could not even sense his existence. What in the world did I do to get so tired? Long Fei muttered. He still wanted to ask if they could get him some holy artifact to supplement his body, but the Yen Huang ancestor didn't respond. It was too tiring. In order to save Dark Crow King, he had almost used up all of his profound qi. However, other than Raven King helping Long Fei enter the underworld, he had other reasons why the Yen Huang ancestor was doing this. This time, when he woke up again, his strength would increase. Because there was once a power within the Raven King's body. He did not tell this to Long Fei. Half an hour passed. Boom! The god's devil ancient case suddenly moved, and the box automatically opened. A colorful nether bird flew out with a long tail, and its entire body flickered with the aura of hell. He flew into the air, landed beside Long Fei, lowered his head, and said without any strength in his voice, "Master!" 9 secret underworld finches. Long Fei's mind shook, and he muttered, "This is the 9 secret underworld finches, the divine bird that can freely pass through the underworld." The 9 secret underworld finches said, "I can enter the underworld, but it's not free access." "Master, Come on up, I'll take you into the underworld and find the 3 souls and 7 souls that you're looking for. The 9 secret underworld finches did not describe her power in detail. Long Fei said, "Can I go now?" The 9 secret underworld finches said, "Yes, master, you can go any time you want." Long Fei replied, "All right, let's return to see Demon City first. I also need to make some preparations." He did not immediately enter the underworld. What kind of place was the underworld? It was definitely extremely dangerous, and stealing Xie Qin's soul and spirit was even more so dangerous. Long Fei did not dare to let down his guard. He had to prepare some things. Back to see Demon City. Long Fei bought all of the spirit grass in the Demon City. All sorts of things. More than 1,000 spirit stones had been wasted. Alchemy were burning money. If one wanted to become an alchemist, then they had to burn a pile of money. All of the alchemy masters, refiners, and inscriptionists, in addition to his talent, a series of auxiliary method masters would also need to have a huge amount of money as a backup, crazily burning away money. Demon Imperial Palace. Ever since the old Devil Red Spirit was killed, this place had been turned into ruins and had been robbed by the people inside the sea demons. After that, no one dared to enter again. In a clean courtyard, Long Fei took out the Xian Ming Devil Pill. This is a magic pill that can raise one's realm, and also a deathly pellet. It can crazily stimulate the potential in your body and at a high level of cultivation, but after a certain period of time, your body will wither and then die. When Long Fei exposed this Xian Ming Devil Pill, he was thinking of when he could improve this pellet and eliminate the side effects of the pellet. If we can eliminate the side effects of this Xian Ming Devil Pill, then Long Fei exhaled a breath of relief in his heart. The idea moved. Enchanted. To refine a magic pill, one must be bewitched. Long Fei transformed into his sky demon form and then summoned his magic panacea furnace. He was not in a hurry to refine a Xian Ming Devil Pill, so he placed the pill inside instead. Slowly, the Xian Ming Devil Pill began to decompose from the furnace. Long Fei looked at them very carefully, taking all of the broken-down spirit grass into his heart. These were the key to refining the Xian Ming Devil Pill. In order to improve his pill, the first step was to refine it. He would look for ways to improve the pill concocting process, just like he had looked for the Dragon Spirit Pill. What a complicated program! There are 16 different kinds of spirit grass, and every single one of them are incomparably fierce spirit grass. Merely fusing together these fierce and medicinal spirit grass is already extremely difficult. Long Fei frowned. He had never refined a magic pill before. Magic pill. It was to be more like a mad demon, without a care for the consequences. Just like Xian Ming Devil Pill. The 16 types of valiant spirit grass were like incomparably fierce aphrodisiacs that could cause one to instantly become excited and powerful. However, this way, his body would be hollow. The Xian Ming Devil Pill was more than 100 times stronger than the Yang strengthening medicine and directly swallowed all the profound qi in his body. An hour passed. Long Fei clearly understood the attributes of the 16 types of fierce demon spirit grass. Humph! Long Fei calmed down and said, "Let's begin." The true qi moved. As the demonic qi entered, the auras of the magic panacea furnace started to converge. Long Fei stared at the pill furnace with a strange technique. He threw a spirit grass into the pill furnace, and it started to seep into the furnace, paying attention to every change in the spirit grass. Ding! Refinery failure. Ding! Refinery failure. Ding! After repeated failures, Long Fei was not discouraged and continued to refine. It had been 3 days since the failure of the first spirit grass, and now he could finally bring out the 16 types of spirit grass's fierce medicinal properties. Within 3 days, he raised the alchemy technique to the 6th level of the profound stage. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's still not enough. Again, Long Fei would stop to summarize every time he failed, and after that he would start to refine crazily. The 5th day. Ding. Refining is a success. Long Fei was secretly happy. In these 5 days, I finally know how to refine Xian Ming Devil Pill. The rest of the time will be spent on refining Magic Pill. At this moment, Long Fei opened the God's Devil Ancient case and faintly said, "Now it depends on how much you can help me with." A while ago, Long Fei had categorized the spirit grass he had bought, placed all the spirit grass that were used to refine Xian Ming Devil Pill into the God's Devil Ancient case, and had them frantically grow again. Strongest upgrade system. The energy in the pool could make these mature spirit grass become stronger again, and increase the medicinal properties of their spirit grasses. Fierce demon grass. Since it's a fierce force that stimulated the potential within my body, then I will let it become even more powerful and use its unyielding strength to break through the Xian Ming Devil Pill's shackles. This was Long Fei's crazy idea. Chapter 38_8419/2356748. Break through force with force. Break through force with force. You want to be tough? I will let you reach the limit of your ferocity. After being nourished by the God's Devil Ancient case, the normal strong spirit grass had become 10 times stronger than before. Every single one of the 16 spirit grass were like this. What kind of concept was this? Insane demon. That was why lunatics thought like this. Whether one could grasp such a powerful force or not, the furnace would definitely explode. Huff. Long Fei let out a light breath, clearing his heart of all distracting thoughts, and allowed himself to enter into a space unique to Sky Demon. It was a world that belonged solely to the devils. And then, demonic energy surged out as the true chi combusted crazily. The magic panacea furnace moved, just like how he used Xian Ming Devil Pill S. The ferocious energy released by Spirit Grass S was even stronger, and they were uncontrollable under the churning of the demonic energy. Half a minute later, boom, the magic panacea furnace was blasted away. The furnace exploded. However, the magic panacea furnace was a pretty good treasure. Even though it had exploded, it did not suffer any damage. Continue. Boom. Some were explosion furnaces. Every time he released an additional spirit grass, the force would become even more violent, and he was completely unable to control it. Again. Boom. Refinery failure. Again. Refinery failure. Crazy, crazed, refine like a demon. What would the underworld encounter? Long Fei was unable to imagine that the only thing he could do was to try his best to prepare. It was already impossible for him to level up any further in a short period of time. As he was currently at the 5th stage of the War Master, he would need nearly 200 million experience to level up. Right now, he could only improve himself through the Xian Ming Devil Pill. Once the magic pill was successfully refined, by consuming it, one's cultivation would continuously increase by several realms. 1 day passed. Long Fei failed every single time. The next day passed. There wasn't the slightest attribute or side effect of an incomplete pill. The 3rd day passed. There were a few more broken pills. An entire 8 days had passed, and Long Fei's alchemy technique had risen to the 9th level of the profound stage. Ding. Refining is a success. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for refining a new pill. Please name it. Huh. Long Fei's entire body was pitch black, just like the coal mining teenager. His entire body was completely black, and he hadn't bathed for nearly half a month, causing his entire body to stink. Hearing such a wonderful sound, Long Fei let out a long breath. I have to level up, I have to. Huff. Long Fei opened up the system to check. Medicinal pills. Improved version of Xian Ming Devil Pill, temporarily unnamed. Grade. Earth Stage 3rd rank. Magic pill. True Qi. 0 points pill description. When the medicinal pill enters the body, it will stimulate the meridians in the body with a violent and forceful force. It will cause the body to suddenly double in size and strength. Description 2. This pill can increase the user's cultivation base by 3 levels within 5 minutes. After 5%, the user's cultivation level will recover and cannot be used again for 12 hours. Description. This pill cannot be used beyond War God realm. There is no effect. Rob. Long Fei consecutively said the word fuck 3 times in a row. He was so excited that it was a mess as he said, awesome. Enlarging pills. Ha ha ha. To be able to make a person's size and strength grow, wasn't that the same as the peerless attributes in the game? Long Fei moved a bit and muttered, could it be that when I use my alchemy, I can use the peerless attribute to merge it into the pills? When Long Fei was refining the pellet, Wushuang never stopped. Without a strength of 8 times, he was unable to control the explosive power contained in the pill furnace. The peerless attribute was being absorbed. This. Long Fei was not sure either, but he knew that he had succeeded. Ding. Please name the player. The system sounded out once again. Long Fei muttered, the strong power is called the strong pill. This name is not too impressive. Suddenly, Long Fei thought about the effects of the pill being magnified and laughed. It's called Steel Mixture. The name was given by him. Ding. Name confirmed. Huff. Long Fei did not stop and said, continue with the refinement. Since I can raise my cultivation by 3 levels, I'll have to forge more of these pills. If I can't defeat them in the future, I'll just have to swallow some medicine. Another day passed. Long Fei had refined 10 steel mixture S. It was not every time that he succeeded. The success rate was very low. Being able to refine 10 pellets was already quite amazing. On the 10th day, Long Fei moved and shouted towards the sky. 9 secret underworld finches. You can enter the underworld now. The 9 secret underworld finches was not his, and was also unable to enter his war pet space. When Long Fei's voice fell, in less than half a second, the 9 secret underworld finches appeared by Long Fei's side. As respectfully as before, it asked, Master, are you ready? Long Fei kept the magic panacea furnace and smiled. All right. And then he jumped onto the 9 secret underworld finches' back and said, Target's underworld, appear. The 9 secret underworld finches cried out. The moment his voice reached the sky, space began to distort like a bottomless black hole. The 9 secret underworld finches reminded, Master, you're done. Shwa. Once inside the black hole, the 9 secret underworld finches flapped its wings and said, I need a little time. Long Fei laughed. I'm not in a hurry. Right. What is your relationship with the Yen Huang ancestor? Long Fei casually asked, and as soon as he finished speaking, he felt that something was amiss, and immediately said, You don't have to answer. The 9 secret underworld finches did not hide anything, and said, He was my previous master. After he fell, I followed Samsara, but I never thought that my master was still alive, and I could see him again. All of this. When he said this, he did not continue. Long Fei also did not continue asking, and thought in his heart, No wonder Yen Huang ancestor is so nervous. If I had fallen and been reborn, I would be so nervous when I saw Xiaobai. Actually, Long Fei did not know. Inside the body of the Dark Crow King was the power of the seal that once existed within his body. Only when the Dark Crow King evolved into a 9 secret underworld finches would it awaken and be absorbed by him. Yen Huang ancestor was constantly devouring holy artifacts to make his residual soul become stronger, and also to fuse with the power of the seal. He wanted to become stronger. He wanted to slaughter his way back to the chaos realm. He wanted to take back everything that belonged to him. Wu equals semi/floating life plus. The 9 secret underworld finches cried out and said to Long Fei, "Master, we have reached the underworld. The bridge of helplessness is right in front." While they were talking, Long Fei entered another world, an incomparably real world. He clenched his fists tightly and said, "Big Sister Qin, I will definitely revive you." Chapter 4, thank you. Tears of Qingcheng, 2 strong firepower support. Thank you. 8_8419/2356749. Underworld. Underworld. It's not like the TV movies. This was more like a real world. To be exact, this was a real world that belonged to ghosts. The 9 secret underworld finches put Long Fei down and said, "Master, I cannot go in. I can only bring you here with me. When you want to go back, shout out towards the sky, and I will appear." Long Fei said gratefully, "Thank you." Long Fei jumped down, and the 9 secret underworld finches disappeared into the horizon. In front of him was a bridge, a very, very long bridge. On the other side of the bridge was a very, very, very large city. Just the city walls towered in the sky, and one could not see the end of it. Line up. Do you want to cut in line? Get lost. One after another, they shouted at Long Fei with fierceness. They were like real people. He looked at Long Fei's pitch-black face. A ghost laughed and said, "Are you a coal digger? Could it be that the landslide smashed you to death? This is the first time I've seen something so black." Long Fei looked at himself and thought his clothes were tattered and his face was black. He looked just like a coal digger. He said disdainfully, "Damn, so what if I dig coal? Can a coal miner be reborn? Say another word. Do you believe that I won't kill you?" He had a domineering look on his face. "I dig coal. I'm glorious." At this moment, the group in front of them was in an uproar. A few ugly men who were tall and big started punching and kicking an old man while cursing at him. "Old man, you're still going to die even without money. Hurry up and give me your dreams. If you don't hand over a spirit stone today, then don't even think about entering this city." "Old bastard." Bang, bang, bang. A violent beating. The old man laid on the ground for a long time without being able to get up. On the other side of the group, there were also a dozen or so people kneeling on the ground, including women, children, and old men. Just like the old man who was beaten up a moment ago, they were all people who had no money to pay for their reincarnation fees. Long Fei muttered and said, "Damn, there are people who collect protection fees in this underworld too? Bro, what's going on up ahead?" That person turned his head and stared at Long Fei with disdain. "How would I know? It's not like I die every day. It's also the first time I die." Air. Who wouldn't die for the first time? However, someone from the Oxhead gang replied, "They specialize in paying protection fees on the Bridge of Helplessness. If you want to cross the Bridge of Helplessness, you must pay a spirit stone. Of course, you can also pay the same price. If anyone dares not pay it, it will be a violent beating, and they can't even enter the city yet." Do you know the consequences of not entering the city? Lonely soul, wild ghost. Long Fei looked at him and asked with a little curiosity, "Brother, how do you know so clearly? You often die." The man immediately stared at Long Fei and said, "You frequently die. I was a writer in my previous life. In this kind of situation, I can easily guess. F asterisk CK. Novelists are such an awesome profession. In my previous life, I loved to read novels, but it seems like you're not that old yet. But why are you writing a novel here? Long Fei was even more curious. The man looked up to the sky and sighed. You've overworked yourself to death. Another person asked, What do you mean overworked? How come I've never heard of such a way of dying? Is it good? That person said, I've been urged by the readers every day, writing all day and every day. I've even been urged, but even my wife doesn't have the time to touch me. That's fine. But, sigh. And they were even scolded. It was a terrible scolding. You can't imagine. My front door is blocked, just like a shrew swearing at a street. I dare to write every day, and every night I dare to write a script, and I die just like that. If there's a next life, I won't enter this line of business, even if I die. Long Fei began to sympathize, and he couldn't help but ask, What kind of novels did you write? Air. Well, that's the kind of novel. The person muttered to himself. Long Fei thought quickly and said, Damn, so it's Master Huang. Are you still writing in the underworld? Maybe the underworld has your readers. You might be able to make a living? Didn't I just say it? Even if I die, I won't write anymore. The man said excitedly. At this moment, the few robust men from the Oxhead gang walked over and glared at the man. What's your name? Where do you live? How is your family? Speak the truth. If you dare to lie in the slightest, then that is what will happen to you. That person honestly said it out, just as he finished announcing his name. That savage brute's eyes immediately lit up, and he laughed excitedly. Ha ha ha. Looking forward to the stars and the moon, I've finally brought you here. Master Huang, I'm your idol. No, I'm a fan of yours. You're finally dead. Hurry up and write. I just want to see that sister-in-law's allure. That person's gaze turned cold as he said lightly, Uncle, I'll be writing now. F asterisk CK. What did you say? The evil ghost was immediately enraged. What did you seal? Master Huang immediately said, I will write. The evil ghost patted Master Huang's shoulder and laughed. That's right, write obediently. I'm your fan, and our Oxhead gang is also your fan. If you write well, hee. From today onwards, you don't have to worry about being in the underworld anymore. We'll protect you. Immediately, many people in the crowd looked at him with envy. A lot of people even said, I can write novels too. I can even write stories about the temptation of this old lady. Do you want to read them? I know how to seduce the old man. F asterisk CK. You guys are too weak. I know how to write gay lures. The evil ghost glared and shouted. Your father knows how to describe the allure of chrysanthemum. Do you have any comparing with Master Huang? Hurry up and hand over the toll. If one of you is missing, I'll kill you all. Men, bring Master Huang directly into the city. Yes, sir. The evil ghost looked at Master Huang's back with a face of worship. You won't have to worry about it for the rest of your life. At this time, the evil ghost stared at Long Fei and said, Kid, what is your name? Where do you live? What class is it? Long Fei replied, Long Fei. The evil ghost flipped through a small notebook in its hands and scratched its head. I don't have that name. And then he wasn't in the mood to look up more and said, Hurry up and pay me the protection fee. Long Fei replied, I don't have any spirit stones on me, but I'm an alchemy master. Can I use pills in place of spirit stones? The evil ghost spirit shook and said, You're an alchemy master? Long Fei replied, Yes. The evil ghost immediately became excited. What sort of pills do you know how to refine? Long Fei said, I can refine any kind of pill. The evil ghost disdainfully said, Brat, boasting in front of me will have very serious consequences. Long Fei said, I don't dare. The evil ghost replied, I don't think you dare, kid. Since you can refine all kinds of pills, then refine a mighty steel spear for me. Strongest upgrade system. Wait a moment. I just happen to have this pill. Long Fei reached his hand into the crevice and pulled out a black pill. Chapter 5. Our monthly tickets aren't too bad. Those brothers who have monthly tickets can help support it. The C is extremely grateful. 8_8419/2356750. The evil ghost leader looked at Long Fei and thought for a while, then said, Brat, if you can't take it out, there is still a place for mining in the underworld. When the time comes, you can dig a hole through the coal for me. The evil ghost leader looked at Long Fei and thought for a while, then said, Brat, if you can't take it out, there is still a place for mining in the underworld. When the time comes, you can dig a hole through the coal for me. Clank, clank, clank. Long Fei made up the music for himself and took out a black pill from his bosom. He said to the chief evil spirit in a low voice, Do you know what this is called? His face was filled with excitement. The evil ghost shuddered and asked, What pill? Ha ha! This thing is amazing. Long Fei lowered her voice and said, I would never give an ordinary person to him. You're different. Someone as mighty and powerful as yourself is definitely worthy of this pellet. The evil ghost leader was extremely proud as he said, Quickly tell me what pill it is. Long Fei said with a serious face, Listen carefully. This is the best pellet you can find in the 9 heavens and 10 earth. After consuming it, it will rotate 360 degrees, and after that, it will continue to spin, and Thomas will not be able to sleep in it 7 times in one night. Brother Wei, Viagra. Looking at the black pill in front of him, the evil ghost leader squinted his eyes and said, Brat, don't you know how to mess with me? Long Fei immediately replied, I don't dare. The evil ghost leader sneered, Lung you brat, you don't have the guts to do that. After he finished speaking, he took the pill and was about to throw it into his mouth, but was instantly suppressed by Long Fei and said, This pill's medicinal properties are incomparably fierce. If you take it now, I'm worried. Hearing that, the evil ghost leader immediately laughed and said, Ha ha, not bad at all. Today, I managed to catch an untactful girl, and I just so happened to be able to use this awesome pill to boost my mood. The ghost head lewdly smiled. Long Fei also laughed along. Suddenly, the evil ghost leader laughed coldly and shouted, How many of these pills do you have on you? Long Fei slightly asked, How much do you want? The evil ghost replied, My physique is different from others. Others can't get out of bed 7 times a night. I can't get out of bed 21 times a night. Long Fei stared blankly for a moment, then said while looking at him, You really are a dragon within ghosts. Wait a moment, I'll look for it again. Finished. Long Fei rubbed his hands together, left and right, all over the place, and thought in his heart, Luckily I didn't take a bath for the past half-month. Otherwise, it would have been really difficult to solve this problem. Not long after, Long Fei took out the 2 Wagyu S and said, These are the last 2. There's really nothing else. And then Long Fei acted as if he was extremely unwilling and said, Ghost head, can you leave me one? This is my last 2. Bring it here, boy. The evil ghost leader snatched the pill and said disdainfully, With your small physique, you would probably be a 5-second man. This pill would be a waste if I gave it to you. Even if it has a 7-fold effect, you would still be a 35-second man. What's the use of that? Air. Long Fei forced a smile, nodded, and said, All right, 5 seconds, male. Let's see how many seconds you can last tonight. The evil ghost head kicked Long Fei's, and said, "Enter the city." Next, the corner of Long Fei's mouth curled into a cold smile, and he thought to himself, "Tonight, you're going to fly to the sky." Walking on the bridge that led to Demonic City, Long Fei slowly walked and kept looking. He didn't see the legendary Grandma Meng and couldn't help but ask, "Didn't they say that there is Grandma Meng on the Bridge of Helplessness?" Bridge of Helplessness? Grandma Meng's elixir? Only those who have entered the cycle of reincarnation have the right to enjoy it. Us. You don't have the qualifications yet. Wait a moment. It seems like the underworld is truly different from what I imagined. Long Fei's heart tensed up. Where can I go to find 3 souls and 6 souls? Let's enter the city first. Phantom Capital. For ghosts, this was the first stop. It was also where the new ghost was registered. This was the King of Hell. There were also 2 big gangs, the Oxhead Gang and the Horseface Hall. These 2 gangs controlled everything here. The King of Hell was the supreme commander, and under normal circumstances, he wouldn't step in unless something huge happened. And today, something big had happened, because he could feel someone's aura entering this place. Humans and ghosts were different. No matter how powerful one was, one could not enter this place. King Yinluo's forehead turned sinister. Who is it? What's the matter with entering my underworld? Could it be because of my book of life and death? No way. I have to find him first. He's human, and I have to turn him into a ghost so that I don't have to worry about anything. King Yama laughed out loud, and then the idea sunk and passed onto the Oxhead and Horseface of the fragrance in the true beauty's lair. Instantly, the 2 of them jumped up from the woman's stomach. Which one of you can find this person? The position of the Ghost City's Vice City Lord is his. Remember, you can't mess up the order of the Ghost City. This is my territory. If you want the higher-ups to see the disturbance here, then there's no need for you 2 to exist. The 2 of them shook. They had fought for the position of Vice City Lord for their entire lives, so this time they had to determine who was the better one. Oxhead said fiercely, "The Vice City Lord position is mine." Horseface did not want to be outdone, and said, "Ha ha. Oxhead, are you the only one who is qualified to be a Vice City Lord?" "I am the only one qualified. Ha ha ha." The 2 quickly left, returning to their respective halls. "Go and check it out immediately. Remember to capture him alive." Half a day later, Long Fei searched for a long time, but didn't find anything, and even inquired a few times about where the 3 souls and 7 souls were. However, it wasn't as if he didn't achieve anything after all this time. He knew one thing. This ghost city was one of the territories under the jurisdiction of the Yama King. If he wanted to find someone, he would definitely be able to find him easily. The King of Hell is Hades Manor. Long Fei looked at the most imposing and tyrannical building in the center of the city, and it was as if a primordial wild beast was roaring. "No matter what, I have come and will not return until I find Siechin's soul and body." To the residents of Hades, searching for Siechin's 3 souls and 7 souls could not be considered a quest, so there were no hints. In Ghost City, Long Fei was running around like a headless fly. He didn't have a clue. Of course, this was his first time in the underworld, so he was not familiar with the situation here. Long Fei slowly walked in the direction of the residents of Hades. The streets were in a state of chaos. The Oxhead Gang has matters to attend to. Those who are unrelated can just scram to the side. Who dares to anger Lousy? Lousy will make sure he can't even be a ghost. A savage, evil spirit bellowed. A dozen or so members of the Oxhead Gang rushed into an inn and brought their boss out. They slapped him to the ground and said, "Old man, I hate it when people stand and talk to me. Tell me, is there anyone special staying here today?" At this moment, It was the same for the other inn. However, it was another group of people. However, they were all from the Horseface Hall. They were all incredibly vicious. Longfei's heart trembled. Have I been discovered? Chapter 1. Many thanks to Alliance Master Xiao Yao for his strong firepower support. Haiyang is extremely grateful. Table of Contents 8_8419/2356751. Humans and ghosts were different. Humans and ghosts were different. Humans had 3 souls and 7 souls, but ghosts did not. However, the ghost city was larger than any city, and it would be extremely difficult to find a person within the billions of ghosts. Moreover, the people of the Horseface Hall could not even tell if Long Fei was a human or a ghost. There were only 5 people in Ghost City that could distinguish between man and ghost, black and white impermanence, Oxhead and Horseface. He was now the Ghost City's boss, the king of hell. The 5 of them could be differentiated. However, Long Fei did not know about any of this. Looking at the ferocious looks of the 2 gangs, he concluded that they were targeting him. I've been discovered. He was discovered as soon as he entered the city. Seems like this King Yama is much stronger than I imagined. Don't worry about that. Go to the residence of Hades and ask the King of Hell directly. Long Fei didn't have time to slowly search for it. Long Fei forgave them and walked towards an alley before going around it. Deep within an alley. Humph! I suspect that the stranger we are looking for is hiding in your room. Our leader said that if anyone dares to stop us from finding him, then that person is the enemy of our Oxhead gang. A savage, evil spirit bellowed. A beautiful woman kneeled on the ground. My lord, there really is no one else in this room. There is only my child, and I. There really is no one else. If you say there's none, I haven't searched yet. The evil ghost coldly snorted and lowered its head to look. Seeing the beautiful face of the beautiful woman, it looked down at her chest from above. Its Adam's apple rolled, and after swallowing a bit of saliva, it said excitedly, "So big." At this moment, the 5 of them walked out from the room and said, "Boss, no." They had all sorts of valuable things in their hands. The beautiful woman immediately knelt down. My lord, these are all of our possessions. You can't take them all. Just leave some for us, mother and son. The evil ghost smiled evilly and said, "Stand up to speak." The beautiful woman was stunned. She slowly stood up and lowered her head, not daring to look at the evil ghost. So beautiful. That's what I like. Finished. Wait for me at the door. I need to deal with my physical condition first. The 5 imps laughed sinisterly. One of them said, "Boss, after you finish it, can you let us have a good time too? We brothers haven't had a good time in a long time." Ha ha ha. No problem. The evil ghost head was incomparably excited. He carried the beautiful woman in his arms and almost drooled as he said, "Little beauty, let's go have some fun." The beautiful woman struggled fiercely and said, let me go, you beast, let me go." Ha ha ha. How do you know my name is Qin Shou? Ha ha ha. He became even more excited as the beautiful woman struggled. "Come on, little beauty, you'll definitely feel great." And here it is. The 7 to 8-year-old child ran up and bit onto the thigh of the beast, not letting it go. He did not say a word, but continued to bite. "Ayo!" Qin sure screamed and kicked the child away. He shouted in anger, "Kill him! You dare to bite me? You must be tired of living." Immediately, the 5 little ghosts immediately rushed up and began to beat the little child. The child curled up on the ground with his eyes wide open. There was no scream, not even a grunt. Hearing this, the woman's face immediately grew pale, and she stopped struggling. "My lord, I beg you, do whatever you want me to do. Don't kill my son. I beg you, don't kill my son, okay? I can do anything. Ha ha ha. Qin Shou laughed wildly and shouted at his 5 underlings, Stop fighting, spare this brat's life first. Little beauty, if you serve me well, I'll spare his life. Ha ha ha. The child looked at the beautiful woman. The beautiful woman smiled and said, I will be fine. I will be fine. Her heart felt as though it was being torn apart. Ha ha ha. Qin Shou laughed loudly, just as he was about to step into the room. Suddenly, a human figure flashed by. He silently stood behind him. Who dares to disrupt my plans? You're looking for death, aren't you? At this moment, Long Fei moved. Teleport. Shua. With one step, he suddenly appeared in front of Qin Shi Beast. Both of his hands clapped together and struck Qin Shi's head, directly grabbing his head, releasing the power of Mountain Hit Fist from both of his arms. The shadow of the large power King Kong ape superimposed over his body. Slowly, Qin Shi struggled at a distance, wailing in pain. Who are you? You dare to attack me. Do you know who your father is? Long Fei said darkly, I don't care who you are. Die. Crack. The skull exploded, and blood continued to flow out from the cracks in the skull. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for defeating evil spirits and Qin beasts for obtaining 900 experience, 500 true Qi, and 1 energy values. A system notification rang out. It was also at this time. The other 5 kids in the yard turned pale. They put down their things and ran out. Long Fei said coldly, Did I let you leave? Before he finished his sentence, his figure had already disappeared. With a move of his right hand, the dragon salure was pulled out. Shua! The body of one of the little ghosts turned to dust and disappeared. Another stab. Another slash. 5 slashes in a row. 5 little ghosts were instantly killed, and Long Fei realized that the dragon salure S were able to deal explosive damage to these little imps. The dragon salure itself could deal more damage to the evil beings. Plus, the anger in Long Fei's heart became even more arrogant. After taking care of the evil spirits in the courtyard, Long Fei turned around to look at the beautiful woman who was hugging a child. Then he comforted her and said, It's fine, it's fine. During this period, the bald-headed child stared at Long Fei. His eyes were special. Long Fei also looked at him, feeling that this child was not simple. After being beaten to such a state, he did not make a sound. At this moment, something strange happened. The 6 ghosts that had just died released a fluorescent light from their location. The light was being absorbed by the child. At this moment, the beautiful woman was extremely nervous. She used her body to shield the child from Long Fei's sight. What kind of power is this? Long Fei muttered. The beautiful lady said nervously, It's not power, it's not power. The child did not avoid it. While he was absorbing the light, he was still staring at Long Fei. His eyes were gloomy, even more terrifying than those evil spirits. The way he was staring was extremely terrifying. And Long Fei is also a madman. You like to look at me? Then I'll just show you enough. He just kept looking at the child. The 2 of them stared at each other for a full 10 minutes. Suddenly, the child started to speak. He looked at Long Fei and said, You're not a ghost. Chapter 2. Thank you, Chief Xiao Yao, for your strong firepower support. Thank you. 8_8419/2356752. You're not a ghost. You're not a ghost. As soon as he finished, the space between Long Fei's eyebrows tightened. In that instant, the entire yard quieted down, so quiet that it was terrifying. Long Fei's eyes flashed with a trace of light. She turned her head to look at Long Fei, then looked at the child and said, Linger, don't speak nonsense. In Ghost City, everyone is a ghost. Suddenly, the beautiful woman reacted with pleasant surprise. Linger, you can talk? You spoke up, haha. You can talk now. He was incomparably happy, incomparable excitement. She had never been happier. For an entire 8 years from birth until now, he had never uttered a single word. Even when he was crying, he had never cried. If he wasn't used to being beaten or scolded, he would never make a sound. That "you're not a ghost" was the first sound he made since he was born. The lady was so happy that tears started streaming down her face. Seeing that, Long Fei laughed. Your mother is right. Everyone in Ghost City is a ghost. I am also a ghost. The child was still looking at Long Fei as he said, You're not a ghost, you're a human. In that instant, Long Fei's eyes became colder. He didn't know how the child in front of him could tell that he was human. Even those evil leaders couldn't tell that he was human. So how could a child tell? The beautiful woman was startled. She seemed to have felt the coldness in Long Fei's eyes and pulled her son closer. Linger, don't speak nonsense. Now, Long Fei was sure that the entire Ghost City was searching for him. If his whereabouts were to be leaked out, Long Fei slightly said, Since you know that I am a human, then... The beautiful woman's expression changed, and she immediately kowtowed to Long Fei. It was Linger who said that. It was Linger who said that. She was too worried. Long Fei smiled lightly. I won't do anything to you. Who? Long Fei had finally felt the hearts of all the parents in the world today. Long Fei looked at the calm and collected child seriously, and then he turned and prepared to leave. At this moment, the child suddenly took a step forward and asked, Can I follow you? Suddenly, when Long Fei was unprepared, he turned around and looked at the child again and laughed. You are still a child. You should have done some things that you should have done at your age, not followed me. The beautiful woman also quickly pulled her son back into her embrace and said, Ling Er. The child still had a serious expression as he said, I want to follow you. The beautiful woman became even more anxious and said, Linger. Long Fei asked with great interest, Why are you following me? The child looked at Long Fei and said, Because you can give me a different world. I want to return to the world that belongs to you. Long Fei's face darkened. The beautiful woman's expression changed drastically as her body trembled. She hugged her son tightly and said, Don't. Linger, please don't. Long Fei said, You want to return, Yang? The child nodded, Yes, Yang. I want revenge. The beautiful woman was shocked once again. Her eyes were filled with fear as she kept saying, No Linger, no Linger. At this moment, the system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for coming across the 8 Great King Kong mission, subduing the Yuling Guardian Warrior. Mission level, time of mission, 1 year, task reward, 1,000 experience, 80,000 true chi, 10,000 points. Yuling Guardian Warrior. Long Fei's heart sank and thought to himself while looking at the child, He's one of my 8 Great King Kong? No way, he's just a kid. In that instant, the system beep sounded again. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for coming into contact with the hidden quest, take your heavenly spirit and leave Ghost City. Mission level, S. Time of mission, 1 year, task reward, 1,000 experience, true chi, 10,000 points, special reward of the divine rank secret technique, 10,000 ghosts, withering wood art. Do you accept? Long Fei did not accept it immediately. He looked at her seriously and said, You really want to come with me? No way. You can't take him away. Please, you can't take him away. The beautiful woman became nervous. She hugged the child tightly and said, Ling Er can't leave me. She can't leave me. Linger nodded. Yes, Long Fei said. Your mother doesn't agree, but I think we should forget about it. The best person in the world is still your mother. You should stay by her side. The heavenly spirit said, Mother is good, but I want revenge. The beautiful woman was in tears as she said, Linger, don't. She looked at her mother and said, Mother, I will use 10,000 times more pain to pay for what you have endured. I will make all of them beg for death. Evil Qi. It was a very vicious aura. At this moment, even the Yen Huang ancestor, who was in closed-door training, was shocked. Yen Huang ancestor said, What a strong, evil aura, this brat. Suddenly, an idea from the Yen Huang ancestor appeared out of thin air, wanting to pry into the vicious aura within the heavenly spirit. But right at this moment, the heavenly spirit's eyes opened wide, and it spat out a word in a low voice, Scram. Boom. The aura of the Yen Huang ancestor was actually blocked by him. Ouch. Yen Huang ancestor was also unhappy, and he said, I would actually like to see how strong your strength is. Long Fei was a little worried and said, Ancestor. Yen Huang ancestor said slightly, Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. In that instant, boom, boom, the space in the sky rumbled like thunder. Layers after layers of bombardment descended, directly crushing the top of the head of the heavenly spirit and directly reaching the deepest part of its mind. A strange light flashed in the sky spirit's eyes. I told you to get the hell out of my body. Boom, boom. A series of loud sounds reverberated in his body, crazily attacking the idea's power in the Yen Huang ancestor. However, Yen Huang ancestor laughed lightly. Kid, you dare be arrogant in front of me? Just suppress them. Boom. Another loud sound rang out. The powerful force inside the heavenly spirit's body had been completely crushed. The heavenly spirit's face had also turned extremely pale. Her eyes were staring straight at Long Fei, gritting her teeth. She was extremely unsatisfied. Just like a child losing a fight, he stared at Long Fei and said, Let me go if you dare. Let go of you. The old man's breath relaxed. At this moment, the aura on the celestial spirit's body spread out as it formed a pair of claws with purplish-black flames trailing behind it, revealing a few sinister runes on its body. The seal runes that he could not understand at all were covered all over his body and looked extremely sinister. One step forward to attack Long Fei. The beautiful woman exclaimed, Linger, don't! Chapter 3. Thank you for your powerful daytime firepower support. Thank you. 8_8419/2356753. Shwa. Shwa. Long Fei's body directly penetrated through Long Fei's body and started to petrify rapidly like a burnt coal, and his entire body became stiff. Long Fei had completely lost control of his body. He did not hide, because the one fighting against the Holy Spirit was not him, but the Yen Huang ancestor. Long Fei slightly said, Ancestor, can you do it or not? If not, then I will do it. If you destroy my body, then I will not let you off so easily. Seeing his body acting like this, Long Fei was in a bad mood. The heavenly spirit penetrated Long Fei's body, and he laughed sinisterly. Woo, 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 woo. You're just SOSO. Is that so? As a voice fell, Long Fei's body moved. Boom. His body charged out from the petrification like a brand new body. With a single step, he landed right on top of the celestial spirit's throat. The Yen Huang ancestor said, Have you cultivated the ghost vein method well? Then try the power of Emperor Yen Huang. Boom. An incredibly powerful qi rushed out, directly crushing at the sky spirit, causing the qi coming out from his body to disappear completely. The ill intent in his heart was also crushed by the power of Emperor Yen Huang until he couldn't move a muscle. The heavenly spirit was enraged as it roared, "Old ghost, who are you?" Yen Huang ancestor laughed blandly. "Your body of evil originally possessed the power to control the spirit, but you did not go on the road. Instead, you absorbed the Yin Qi, the baleful Qi, and even filled your mind with hostility. You're wrong. This road will only allow you to walk further and further away from it. You still need to turn back and be in a rush." As soon as he finished, the Yen Huang ancestor released a stream of seal. "Seal for me." Shua. A stream of power of Emperor Yen Huang was in the depths of the Holy Spirit's mind, and had also sealed the evil and ruthless aura inside his body. The aura of the sky spirit changed and returned to normal. Yen Huang ancestor also instantly returned into Long Fei's broken pubes. He let out a light breath and said, "Brat, this child possesses the power of Yin fiendish energy and is extremely powerful. He also cultivates the power of 9 stages of the ghost vein art. However, the power in his body will temporarily stop, and in the future, he will become even more powerful. Are you still going to tame him?" Yen Huang ancestor asked seriously. "Ghost vein method." Long Fei's heart trembled as he thought to himself, "I keep having the feeling that I've heard this name somewhere before." However, yes, Long Fei did not hesitate and said, "I must, even if his body is filled with even more Yin energy, I must still submit to him." Such a strong person must submit. Since he was one of the 8 great King Kong, he had to submit. 8 great King Kong, Yuling Guardian Warrior. It's here. It's here. It wasn't just the evil spirits of the Oxhead Gang, but also those of the Horseface Hall. They surrounded the small courtyard. "Found this courtyard for me. Don't even think about flying away with a fly." The battle just now was enough to shock all the evil spirits around him. Adding on the fight between the Yen Huang ancestor and the heavenly spirit, the disturbance became even louder and was discovered very quickly. In the yard, Long Fei carried the heavenly spirit and carried it on his back, then said to the beautiful woman, "My life is with him. His life is with me. My life is with him. If not, his life will also be with me." The beautiful woman looked at Long Fei. She knew that the only person who could help her son now was the human being in front of her, because when she was poisoned to death and left the heavenly spirit in the underworld, he knew that his son was a body of evil. I know, one day someone from the human world would enter the underworld and take him away. Although she didn't want this day to come, the Yin fiendish aura in her son's body was getting stronger and stronger. If she didn't purify it, then her heavenly spirit would be controlled by this Yin fiendish aura. The beautiful woman looked at Long Fei and said, "I'll leave everything to you." Long Fei said, "Don't worry." And then Long Fei made a grasping motion with his right hand. "Dragon Salyer, get out." Shua. As the dragon Salyer fell into his hands, Long Fei gently opened the small courtyard's gate and looked at the alleyway filled with evil spirits who were flooding in from all directions. Long Fei grinned and laughed. "Seems like I can level up 1 or 2 levels now." "Kid, obediently kneel down and be captured." A leader of the Oxhead Gang laughed contemptuously. Long Fei's eyes darkened. His mouth slanted. "Kneel before the 8 generations of your ancestors." Shua. With one step, the dragon Salyer in his right hand suddenly slashed down. Bang! The black blade, energy, slashed down. The evil ghost's head left its neck. Like the real world, its body did not collapse instantly. Instead, it swayed and spat out a large amount of blood. Instant kill. Ding! Congratulations to player. Long Fei for killing evil spirits for obtaining 100 experience points, true chi s 100 points, energy values 1 point. It was also at this moment a speck of fluorescent light floated up from the evil ghost body and was sucked into the unconscious sky spirit. Long Fei did not stop him, but instead laughed out wildly. "You have gone mad to the extreme, and no one in this world dares to call you crazy anymore." At this moment, the evil spirits of the Oxhead gang finally reacted and rushed over. "Kill him! Kill! Kill!" The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up, and with one hand holding onto the dragon salyer, he rushed forward, raised his blade up and down, and crazily beheaded the dark dragon god on the dragon salyer's back. Blood splattered everywhere. Dancing death. Screams followed, as if death itself was dancing. The system's notification rang out incessantly. It rang out crazily. In the small alley, blood flowed like a river. Long Fei kept on killing, and the evil spirits kept on charging up, becoming more and more powerful. The more Long Fei killed, the more excited he became. Every time he killed a person, the sky spirit on his back would absorb a little bit of light. From time to time, for an entire afternoon, Long Fei killed his way through. The alley was already blocked by piles of corpses. Long Fei watched as they reached the main street and said to the Holy Spirit on his back, "Let's do it a little more." Shwa! With a move of one hand, true chi was poured into the sword and a blade was raised. A strong gale swept out. Walala! Shwa! Long Fei took a step into the tornado, his body spinning along with it as the true chi combusted crazily. Three-rate peerless technique. Open. Boom. With a loud noise, the tornado became even more violent. The dragon salyer in Long Fei's hands continued to wildly kill after he pulled all the evil spirits into it. One slash. The 10th slash. 100 slashes. The 1,000th blade. The tornado strike was being wildly harvested. At the street entrance, as long as he rushed into the street, with his speed, Long Fei would be able to escape. At this moment, roar! An incomparably thick power descended from the sky. It bellowed, "Get down!" Rumble! He pushed with both palms, unleashing an earth-shattering power that heavily struck the tornado. The tornado that was flying in the sky suddenly stopped, and Long Fei, who was in the eye of the tornado, tightened his face as he immediately placed the heavenly spirit on his chest and slammed his back against the tornado. A dozen or so walls and buildings were knocked over consecutively. After killing for an entire afternoon, Long Fei returned to his original place, in the courtyard of the Sky Soul Institute. At this time, the beautiful woman was forced into a corner, and a few horse-masked disciples surrounded her with obscene smiles on their faces. "This is the kind of woman I like. It's been a long time since we've had meat. We have to have a good time today." Ha ha! At this moment, bang! With a loud sound, Long Fei smashed a wall and smashed it into the courtyard. When the beautiful woman saw Long Fei protecting her son against his chest, her heart was extremely moved, and she was completely at ease with Long Fei. At this time, one of the helpers suddenly turned his head and cursed, "Who the hell dares to seek death, daring to disturb my good fortune?" Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei spat out a mouthful of blood and turned around. The dragon salyer in his hand slashed 4 times. The heads of the 4 evil spirits flew straight into the air. Without even looking at it, Long Fei returned the heavenly spirit in his bosom to the beautiful woman and said, "Take care of him first." In that instant, Long Fei stood in place, the ground cracked, and his entire person flew into the air. He pointed at a black dot in the distance and bellowed, "If you dare to touch me, come again if you dare." "Humph! You overestimate yourself. You think you're strong? In my eyes, you're just an ant. I can squeeze you however I want. Before he could finish, the black dot closed in instantly and landed in front of Long Fei. Oxhead, Ghost City warrior. His eyes were filled with contempt as he sneered, "Brat, just obediently kneel down and accept your death." Boom! A stream of power burst forth from his palm, crushing everything in its path, once again striking at Xian Longfei. Very strong, very powerful. However, Long Fei did not hesitate at all. Steel mixture. Crack. When Long Fei swallowed the steel mixture pellet, his body suddenly changed dramatically. His original height of 180 centimeters instantly changed to 3 meters, and his 4 limbs doubled. His cultivation instantly jumped from the 5th level of the War Master to the 8th level, continuously rising 3 levels. Long Fei's body was ignited with black flames. This black flames had a unique body that was fused with the darkness energy emitted from the dragon Salyer. At the same time, Long Fei roared in his heart, "Heart Sutra! Open for me! Rumble 360 search! Half floating / equals rumble." His huge body was surrounded by Kitagarbha energy. Long Fei smiled. "Do you want to touch me?" Long Fei's huge body moved forward and directly smashed into Oxhead's palm. Completely ignoring his attack, he grabbed Oxhead's head with his huge hand and laughed sinisterly. "It's my turn now, right?" Chapter 5. Thank you, brothers, for your monthly tickets. The sea sincerely thanks you. 8_8419/2356757. Steel mixture. Steel mixture. Heart Sutra. 3-rate peerless technique. When the 3 energies were combined together, the aura on Long Fei's body instantly changed. Oxhead's palm did not even bother defending. He rushed forward and grabbed Oxhead's head. "You're finished. Now it's my turn, right?" He crushed them with brute force. The Oxhead was actually unable to move and felt extremely uncomfortable. He stared at Long Fei and shouted, "Brat, you dared to barge into the underworld. Even if you're alive today, you will still die." Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei punched him in the face. "Are you dead?" Oxhead could not dodge. He punched himself until his nose was bruised, but he still shouted loudly, "You dare to touch me? You know who I am? You are an animal." Long Fei punched out again, specially striking his face. Oxhead was enraged as he roared, "Brat F***CK. Fuck your ancestors." Long Fei punched out again, striking his face. Uffed. Blood spurted out from the wound, and a huge face of a cow was mangled into a bloody mess. However, it was not over yet. Long Fei's huge body grabbed onto the bull's head with one hand and struck it with the other. Come the F***CK again. If I wasn't holding a child, would I have been ambushed by you? Is Oxhead great? Is the Oxhead gang arrogant? Obstructing my path? Come again. Boom, boom, boom. With every punch, he would roar. The sky would crash into the ground, and the ground would crack. The Oxhead's entire body would be badly mutilated. Every strike of his would strike the spirits of those devils. This bastard was a lunatic. Did he not know who the Oxhead gang leader was? Crazy, crazy, completely crazy. The people around them whispered amongst themselves. Long Fei stood in the deep pit and lifted the bloody head of the cow out of the pit. Oxhead's mouth twitched as he laughed in disdain. "Do you know where we are? This is the underworld. Only the Yama City can kill me. You? Ha ha ha. Kid, you will never be able to kill me. Ha ha ha." Oxhead had been crushed, but the arrogance on his body had not diminished in the slightest, because he knew clearly in his heart that in Ghost City, only the boss Hades could kill him. The other ghosts could not kill him. The same goes for Horseface. Longfei's anger rose. I won't kill you, right? Oxhead laughed complacently. Of course, you're going to die soon. Just you wait. Wah! At this moment, Longfei grabbed with his right hand, and a black dragon salyer appeared. He threw the cow head into the sky. I want to see how you are going to die. He stayed where he was. The purification power of the heart sutra surged. The power of a steel mixture. All of the three-rate peerless technique's power was channeled into the dragon salyer. One slash. Longfei's voice sank as his eyes turned sinister. Another elite monster, Horseface. Another elite monster, Horseface. His aura was slightly stronger than Oxhead's. Floating in the air, his eyes revealed a sneer of disdain. At this moment, the Horseface Hall disciple was extremely arrogant as he shouted, "Trash from the Oxhead gang, scram to the side. It's our turn now." Trash like you can't even deal with a single person after so long. Do you still have the face to stay here? Get lost. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? With an arrogant expression, the disciples of the Horseface Hall rushed into the small courtyard. With a ghost blade in hand, he pointed at Longfei and bellowed, "Kid, today you met my Horseface Hall. Your death is—" Before he could say the word, die, Longfei's figure disappeared. The dragon salyer moved and slashed. Whoosh! A ghost head shot into the air, blood spraying out. Longfei's gaze turned cold. "Don't be arrogant in front of me. It's useless." The disciples of the Horseface Hall all had cold expressions on their faces. As the head landed on the ground, Longfei's right leg moved and directly kicked at Horseface. Whoosh! Horseface's eyes turned slightly sinister as he released a sinister aura. He didn't even blink as the head approached him. He immediately transformed into nothingness. So powerful, Longfei's heart trembled. It seemed like Horseface was not moving, but he did not. In that instant, he actually moved. It was just that it was too fast, so fast that it could fool people's eyes. Suddenly, Horseface suddenly descended. Schwa, standing in front of Longfei, he said with a cold smile, "Even though Oxhead and I are sworn enemies, however, if you kill him, I'll lose a lot of face. His life is mine. If you kill him, then I can only kill you." The power of ghosts. Solwak. Horseface's power surged. Who could block him at such a close distance? Could Longfei block it? No. Thus, he did not go to defend, but the idea sank. Boom, boom, boom. For clones appeared. Horseface's power exploded and directly turned one of Longfei's clones into ashes. It was also at this moment that his back felt a chill and his body didn't dare to move even an inch. Boom. Continue the bombardment. Go F*** **King on with the bombardment. They spoke very quickly, and all three of them said it at the same time. Horseface was a little confused. This was not the main point. The main point was that he felt that Longfei's chi was locking him down from all directions. He couldn't move. His heart sank again. What kind of cultivation technique is this? Why have I never seen it? Is there such a cultivation technique in the world? However, Longfei did not give him any time to think about whether or not he had that kind of cultivation technique, and instead unleashed his full strength. 3 dragon salyers and 3 furious dark dragon god slashes. Boom, boom, boom. 3 strikes of power came crashing down. He directly smashed Horseface onto the ground. The bun was scattered, and his entire body was a mess of blood and flesh. 3 incomparably sharp cracks appeared on the ground. The scene was extremely shocking. Longfei retracted his idea and stepped forward, stepping on Horseface's body. "Aren't you very arrogant? Continue." Wahaha! Long Fei laughed out wildly. An arrogant and domineering aura completely crushed Horseface. With Oxhead's experience of death, Horseface immediately said, "Hero, don't be like this. I was wrong. I'm wrong, all right? I swear, I won't be arrogant anymore." Horseface begged for mercy. Long Fei grinned and laughed. "Are you begging now?" "I'm sorry." "Too late. Let him go just because he begged for mercy. Let him go if he doesn't act arrogantly. How can I level up then? Beheading an ox head would give you a bonus of 1 level. And if Horseface was 1 point stronger than an ox head, then he would definitely be rewarded as well. What he wanted now was experience. What he wanted was level. In that instant, the dragon salyer in Long Fei's hand suddenly slashed. "Don't be arrogant in your next life, because there's only one ending for you to be so arrogant. In front of me, die." Crack! Another slash. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Horseface for obtaining 1 experience point, true chi point, and energy values point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining ghost steps. Do you wish to cultivate it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Horseface blood vein. Do you wish to fuse them? Congratulations to player Long Fei. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward for killing Horseface, level +1. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at War Master level 7. Level 7. War Master is already level 7. There is only a difference of 3 levels to the War Emperor realm. Heaven Sect, Hong Tianjun. Long Fei's heart was incomparably excited from the day he left the Fire Glass City. He was desperately cultivating and leveling up. He was thinking about killing his way up to the Heaven Sect and trampling Hong Tianjun to death 3 years later. All the time, right now, he was at the 7th level of the War Master, just 3 levels away from it. However, that's not enough. He wanted to break through the War God realm, wanted to crush Hong Tianjun to the ground and make him unable to crawl back up, wanted to make him kneel in front of Lu Luoxi and kowtow and admit his mistake. This was what he wanted to do the most. It was also at this moment. Horseface's glowing light was absorbed by the sky spirit. This time, instead of the previous time, his body was shrouded in a black aura, and he immediately inhaled it into his body. However, the murderous aura inside his body became even stronger. Long Fei swept his gaze across and smiled coldly. Horseface Hall. Those disciples were so scared that they directly kneeled on the ground and continuously kowtowed and apologized. "Great sir, I was wrong. We deserve to die 1,000 deaths. Hero, I'm not familiar with Horseface at all. I was forced to. I want to be a good person. No, be a good ghost. Please spare my life." The corner of Long Fei's mouth lifted as he coldly laughed. "A bunch of cowards. Your lives are just wasting your air. Turn them all into my experience." Long Fei moved. The dense chi on his body released. The dragon salyer slashed continuously. The blade descended like a ghost dying. He did not stop at all. He needed experience, an urgent need. Moreover, he couldn't leave any hidden dangers behind for the mother and son pair. Ding! Ding! The system beep as echoed crazily. At the same time Long Fei killed them crazily, he continued to crazily absorb the energy from the sky spirit that was still in a coma, not stopping for even a second. The power in his body was accumulating. The more power he had in his body, the more Ghost City would tremble. Suddenly, the sky suddenly split apart. A golden light scattered down. Boom! A loud sound rang out as a man with a ferocious gaze and a domineering aura hovered in the air, his entire body emitting a golden light. Long Fei had seen him before. He looked at Long Fei with a cold expression. Have I met you before? Indeed, in the Thunder Dragon Temple secret realm. Long Fei had used the Yellow Springs summoning seal to summon him out when dealing with the Dark Lich King. It was exactly the same as the Yama King in front of him. However, the current Yama King's aura was much stronger than when Long Fei was summoning it. Floating life, table of contents, no windows, A++ a little more. The body of the Yama King emitted a dazzling golden light. What did this mean? This meant he was a level boss. Chapter 2, last day of February. Requests for monthly tickets. 8_8419/2356759. The golden light was the boss' most obvious feature. The golden light was the boss' most obvious feature. Kill him. This was Long Fei's first thought. Killing Oxhead and Horseface would increase by 1 level, then killing King Yama. Long Fei grinned vulgarly and laughed. Then why don't you go to the heavens? Ha ha. When King Yama saw the wretched smile on Long Fei's face, his gaze tightened and said coldly, why would a lowly human like an ant come to the underworld? What do you want to do with killing my ghost general? Disdain was written all over his face. Moreover, his voice was filled with a domineering pressure. Long Fei thought of the reason he came this time and said, King Yen, I want to ask you a question. If I die, then my 3 souls and 7 souls will return to the underworld. I want to know where these 3 souls will be imprisoned. He had already been in the ghost city for almost a day, and he had been killing to his heart's content. Hades' eyes darkened. What are you trying to do? Long Fei laughed. I don't want to do anything. I just want to save someone. Save him? Save people in my underworld. Do you want to go against the heavens? The king of hell was infuriated. Since he was already dead, he should go to a place that was dead. If he wanted to return the favor back to the sun, that was an act that defied the will of the heavens. He was the master of this ghost city, and this was something that required him to live within his jurisdiction. A dead man's yang. Absolutely not allowed. If everyone did it, then wouldn't the world be a mess? Moreover, what do you think of him? Long Fei slightly said, even if I, Long Fei, have to go against the heavens to save the person I want to save, I will still do it. What an arrogant tone. King Yen coldly snorted, today we will see if your strength is worthy of your arrogant tone. Furthermore, today, no matter if you are a human or a ghost, you will still die. As soon as he finished, the sky suddenly changed. A judge pen appeared in Hades' hand, and a book of life and death appeared on his left hand. To control life and death. Book of life and death. Long Fei's heart sank, and thought of something. Hades wants you dead. I definitely won't let you live until 5 o'clock. He controlled the book of life and death. Whoever was to die, the black impermanence would come after him with the help of the judge's pen. At that time, indeed, the book of life and death was the king of hell's most powerful treasure. The brush in his hand moved slightly as he muttered to himself, the black and white impermanents are taking my life. Oxhead and Horseface are leading the way. Kill him. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. For loud sounds resounded as the black and white impermanents walked out from the void. One of them held a soul lance, while the other one was black and white. All this is normal. What surprised Long Fei was that Oxhead and Horseface had revived. Exactly the same. Oxhead rushed down like lightning and said furiously, You dog, I said you can't kill me. Oh ha! My life belongs to His Majesty, the King of Hell. Horseface was equally furious. If you don't kill me today, how can I, Horseface, live on in this world with my dignity? Their lives were under the control of Hades. If Hades wanted them to live, they would live. Long Fei's mind trembled as he stared at the book of life and death in the hands of Hades. He silently said in his heart, could it be? Can that book resurrect a person indefinitely? F***CK. That's a top-grade holy artifact. Explode him. Seeing something good, Long Fei could not even open his feet. The book of life and death. A being in control of life and death. How could he not be excited? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Oxhead, Horseface, and the other two landed beside Long Fei and surrounded him. Kid, die. Oxhead took the lead and charged out. He had a belly full of fire in his heart, as he must break Long Fei into pieces. Horseface tightened up after that. The black and white impermanence guarded the outer perimeter, preventing Long Fei from escaping. However, there was one thing Long Fei could be at ease about, because if the Book of Life and Death didn't take a person's name, that person would die. He was in the underworld right now, so the only way for him to die was to truly kill him, otherwise the black and white impermanence would not be able to hook out his soul. Be clear about that. Long Fei smiled slightly and said, then this father will kill you one more time. The steel mixture still had a minute. This minute, the battle had to be resolved. With his current cultivation level and steel mixture's cultivation level, if the steel mixture's power disappeared, then he would only have the cultivation of War Master level 7. Immediately, Long Fei did not have any hesitation, and his heart sank. Bedevilment! Boom! Burning Silk City was blood red in color, and its entire body was pitch black. Sky Demon armor, Sky Demon crown, wings of the Sky Demon, purple boots of the Sky Demon. God's Devil Blade. Whoosh! Ka! Whoosh! Ka! The Sky Demon armor was all undone, and he put it on Long Fei's God's Devil body, his aura also becoming exceptionally fanatical. The demonic chi was like burning flames, visible to the naked eye, on Long Fei's body. Holy artifact set. His red hair recklessly swayed. The 2 times under the steel mixture's body were incomparably strong, with eyes filled with a domineering demonic aura. The heavenly demon wings on his body and the Sky Demon armor on his body were simply handsome to the point of crumbs. If there was a girl, she would definitely scream. Long Fei originally wanted to use this set of holy artifacts to act cool, but he knew that it was impossible. I can't wait that long now. Devil transformation? Just who are you? The underworld and the demons never had any relationship. Whose soul and soul are you looking for? Hades' face slightly changed. He didn't understand for whose soul and soul did Long Fei come to the underworld. His father? Not dead yet. His mother hadn't died. Grandfather still hadn't died. If it weren't for his family, who would be so desperate, rushing into the underworld itself was a heinous crime. Now, he had to go against the heavens and snatch away the souls and souls of the 3 people. Who was he trying to do this kind of thing that defied the will of the heavens? Hades was constantly calculating and was simply unable to find out who Long Fei was trying to make pay. Seeing Long Fei become bedeviled, Hades was shocked in his heart. Could it be some kind of demon powerhouse? No way. No matter what, I can't let him succeed. Hades was determined. At this time, Long Fei laughed crazily and spat out a single word coldly. Kill. With a furious roar filled with demonic energy, Long Fei moved his God's Devil Blade S. The Sky Demon Chi on the back of the blade immediately shot out. Shwa! He sent the cowhead flying with a single slash. Boom, boom, boom. Dozens of walls were knocked over by Oxhead. At the start, he knocked Long Fei out of dozens of walls, but now he was sent flying by Long Fei instead. He moved to the side. The God's Devil Blade slashed down. Horseface grinned and said, Your speed is 2. Before he could finish his words, Long Fei appeared right beside him and laughed sinisterly. Whose speed is that slow? Boom. His right fist exploded and landed on Horseface's chest, directly blowing him away. Long Fei grinned. Now it's just the two of you. Godai too. Arrogant beyond compare. It was extremely domineering. HTTP. // the black and white impermanence charged forward. Long Fei stared at the king of hell in midair, and suddenly, moonlit step, whoosh, Long Fei jumped into the air and roared, "My target is you." Chapter 38_8419/2356760. From the very beginning, Long Fei's goal was the king of hell in the sky. From the very beginning, Long Fei's goal was the king of hell in the sky. He was fighting with all his might, precisely because he wanted King Yama to let his guard down. 1v1. He was definitely not a match for King Yama. He could only sneak attack. And then, the time for the steel mixture's power was coming. If he did not attack soon, he would not have the chance. Thus, Long Fei suddenly launched a sneak attack. With a step into the air, he landed in front of Yama King and shouted, "Devil Snake's eye!" Shwa! Long Fei's eyes changed as he released the power of petrification from the Devil Snake's eye. Seeing King Yenluo's body slowly petrifying, Long Fei was excited. It's done! 3-rate Peerless Technique. After unleashing his 8-fold stats, Long Fei began slaying the dragon on the right and struck with the Berserker blade on the left. His mouth had an autumn water in it as he bent his body forward slightly, his body appearing like an afterimage of a ghost. 9 Knives Force. Azura. Kill. He didn't give King Yama any chance to react. No one had expected this to happen. Everything happened too quickly. The black-white impermanence on the ground did not react at all. Looking at Long Fei, who was in midair, their mouths gaped open, so wide that even their voices could be heard. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Long Fei's sky demon body was like 3 heads and 6 arms, and the pair of ghost eyes above his head was incomparably red. His body charged forward. Break. A few incomparably sharp blades fell down. Kacha, kacha, kacha. A burst of explosive sounds came out from King Yama's body. Long Fei was extremely excited. It's done, it's done. Ha ha ha. Explode for me. Under these circumstances, he would definitely succeed. Long Fei was extremely excited in his heart to be able to produce the Book of Life and Death and the Judge's Brush. Ha! From now on, I will take control of this samsara. Ha ha! He felt indescribably excited. But the system beep did not make a sound. Long Fei questioned in his heart, didn't he die instantly? There's something wrong with the situation. Suddenly, Yan Huang Ancestor suddenly shouted, "Behind you!" A cold voice rang out. "What are you trying to blow up?" The voice crushed the heavens, as if it was the voice of the heavens itself. Long Fei turned his head slightly, his face pale white, as his body trembled, because the king of hell had become incomparably large, and his body alone covered the sky. In front of him, Long Fei's double body was only the size of an ant. Too powerful. Long Fei's heart trembled. This kind of tyrannical pressure caused him to be completely immobilized. He had never experienced this kind of pressure before, and it was too unbearable. It was extremely uncomfortable. "What do you want to blow up?" The sound came again. Puffed. Long Fei spat out a mouthful of blood. He couldn't even withstand a single sound. An unshakable level of power. "Here, I am the heavens. I am the hegemon. You want to go against the heavens by killing my people? Brat, you're truly overthinking it. King Yama's voice was like waves of thunder, striking one after another on Long Fei's mind. Long Fei also spat out a mouthful of blood. And then King Yama's right hand moved and smashed onto Long Fei's body with a palm strike. Bang! The gigantic palm covered the sky, and Long Fei had nowhere to dodge. Rumble! Rumble! Long Fei's body landed heavily on the ground of the courtyard in a straight line, creating an incomparably deep crater. Dozens of buildings with crater as the center were directly smashed into pieces by the powerful shockwave, becoming a pile of ruins. Too strong. He was simply incomparable. In the deep pit. Ding. Notification. Health point down. Red alert. Player is in imminent danger. Please supplement. Red alert. Player is in imminent danger. Please supplement. The system's alarm kept ringing. Moreover, Long Fei's body felt like it was about to break into pieces. That kind of tearing pain made his health point continue to decline. Long Fei clenched his teeth. The idea moved, power of regeneration, release. Buzz. His health point had already dropped to 100 points. If he still did not release the power of regeneration, he would die in a few minutes. The power of regeneration could recover 1,000 points of health point. Huff, huff. Long Fei gasped for breath, like a cow. Cough, cough, cough. A series of intense coughs. Blood gushed out. If not for the protection of the sky demon, Set, even if he had the power of regeneration, he would have been killed with one palm. Long Fei slowly crawled out of the deep pit, his face as pale as thin paper. At this moment, a dozen Oxhead and Horseface, who were standing outside the wall, rushed back. You dog, it's our turn now, right? Go to hell. Huff. Long Fei exhaled deeply, his eyes becoming bloodshot as he roared sinisterly, scram to the side. The god's devil blade moved. One slash. The head of the cowhead was chopped off once again, blood spewing out from its mouth. With a flip of his right hand, the dragon Salyer held onto his neck. Staring at the Yama King in the air, he said in a heavy tone, Die. It slashed out horizontally. Schwa. Horseface's head was chopped off once again. However, he didn't receive any special rewards these two times. He only received a few million experience points. Even though Long Fei was only left with half his life from the attack of the King of Hell, he was still arrogant as usual, and the aura around his body was still incomparably arrogant. What other power can kill him? Long Fei's mind kept on thinking about this matter. No, not at all. It was as if the King of Hell had no blind spots and no power could shake him. However, at this point, why not kill him? That won't do. Long Fei took a step forward, his gaze locking onto the incomparably large King of Hell. At this moment, whoosh! The aura on Long Fei's body deflated like a balloon, and his body quickly recovered to its normal state. The time for the steel mixture had come. Long Fei's cultivation had returned to the 7th level of the War Master. Within a day, the steel mixture could no longer be used. King Yama laughed arrogantly. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. You lowly ant, you dare to come up and throw your life away, and you dare to fight against me with your low cultivation? Here, I am the heavens. Ha ha ha. King Yenluo laughed maniacally. Long Fei's gaze tightened and said, I don't care what you are. Block my way. Even if it's the heavens, I will still kill him. Explode. With the release of the demonic chi, Long Fei's chi was linked to the dragon Salyer. The dark dragon god roared. He charged forward. Long Fei crazily rushed forward again. King Yenluo disdainfully sneered and said, You overestimate yourself. Another palm came crashing down. Yen Huang ancestor idea moved. Power of Emperor Yen Huang block HTTP. / buzz. His power immediately wrapped around Long Fei, but even so, Long Fei was still blasted down, his attack unable to reach King Yama's body. Not at all. Too damn strong. Chapter 48_8419/2356761. It was truly unshakable. It was truly unshakable. King Yama, the master of the ghost city, the life and death that controlled a world. What realm was he at? It was unimaginable. However, Long Fei knew one thing. He was a boss, a level boss. As long as it was a boss, there would be a weakness. It was just that. Long Fei still hadn't found out where his weakness lay. When King Yenluo's palm struck down, Long Fei's body exploded on the ground like a cannonball, forming a deep pit. However, this time, with the protection of the Yen Huang ancestors' power, he did not suffer much damage. Again, Long Fei's body moved. Ghost steps. Whoosh. Whiz. Multiple shadows. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, 4 clones descended, encircling the King of Hell from 4 directions. Long Fei slashed down furiously. Darkness, not waiting for him to finish. King Yenluo's palm swept across with a punch. Bang, 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 bang. 4 voices exploded. The 3 clones immediately turned into white smoke and disappeared. Long Fei's original body was once again smashed into the ground. Again, Long Fei rushed forward once again. The idea sank. Secret technique, sealing. Shwa. King Yama disdainfully sneered. Break for me? Not even waiting for the power of seal to descend on his body, it was directly smashed into smithereens by his fist, and at the same time, his palm came crushing down. Boom. Long Fei was smashed to the ground again. Again. Long Fei was like a madman, like a devil, like a madman. Every time he was blasted down, he would climb up from the ground and once again charge forward after killing the boss. Even if he couldn't kill it, he would still be able to deal great damage. However, Long Fei's attack couldn't even land on King Yama's body. This was the difference, an incomparable difference. This feeling was extremely maddening. Ha ha ha. King Yenluo laughed maniacally. Come again. Let's see how much you can resist. Kid, today you can't go against me. Wah. King Yama was extremely pleased with himself. Since this was his territory, no one could go against it. Long Fei was the same. Huff, huff, huff. Long Fei panted heavily. He was feeling extremely unwell as he kept thinking about the weakness of the King of Hell. But he didn't think of it at all. Yen Huang ancestor also slightly said, He's too strong. Your current cultivation is too weak. The 2 of you aren't even on the same level. What if we fight? The power that I am currently training in is merely on the surface of the power of Emperor Yen Huang. At most, I can only help you defend. If you want to kill him, you can only rely on your own strength. And Yen Huang ancestor hesitated, but he did not say it. Every time he protected Long Fei's body, he would have to endure a strong pain. His power of emperor, Yen Huang would not be able to hold on for long. It was like a huge blood net. His body was also covered in blood, numerous wounds. His eyes, nose, mouth, and head were all bleeding. However, he did not fall down, much less kneel down. He stood there unwaveringly. He crossed his arms across his chest. His eyes still showed incomparable arrogance and arrogance. There was no sign of fear in his eyes. A man. They would rather live on their feet than die on their knees. The beautiful woman was crying so hard that her heart almost burst. She kept shouting, "No, no, no." Although she hadn't known Long Fei for more than a day, he was definitely right. However, Long Fei was her son's hope and even her savior. Seeing Long Fei standing there, as if he was dead, her heart clenched together as well. Hoo. Long Fei was still breathing, his eyes raised slightly, his movements very slow because it was incomparably heavy. He currently did not even have the strength to lift his eyes. However, looking at the incomparably huge King Yama in the sky, Long Fei arrogantly shouted once more, "Come again, grandson!" King Yama was also furious. This made him very unhappy, and at the same time, he had lost his patience. "You want to die, right? I'll help you." The King of Hell's palm once again struck down. Sister-in-law, 1-/ plus health, strongest upgrade system, the corner of Long Fei's mouth hooked up as he let out a light laugh. "Luo Shi, I'm sorry, grandfather. Jojo, leopard girl, I'm sorry, we have to go first." At this moment, Sky Spirit's eyes opened, became furious, and flashed. He stood beside Long Fei and revealed a cold laughter that was bewitching. "It's my turn." Chapter 5, last day of February, requesting for monthly tickets. Tomorrow, he would go berserk for 10 chapters. 8_8419/23566762. At this moment, Long Fei's health point was only left with this last point. The pain in his body was unable to take away this last bit of health point, but as long as King Yama made a casual move, even a single sneeze would take his life. He was an existence that could not be stopped. However, at this moment, the heavenly spirit suddenly woke up and stood beside Long Fei. Strange runes appeared on his body, covering his entire body, and he had an evil smile on his face. Ghastly, terrifying. It was even more terrifying than a wraith. He turned his head to look at Long Fei and smiled. "You still haven't brought me out of here. You can't die yet." His tone was filled with disdain. It was the same even when facing Long Fei, as this was his innate tone. Because he is a body of evil. Finished. The Sky Spirit raised his eyes slightly and looked at the Yama's palm, which was coming down from the sky. He coldly snorted, "King Yama, I have been seeing you for a long time." Before he could finish his sentence, his figure disappeared. It was even faster than lightning, landing on the huge palm. Both of his fists went berserk as he repeatedly struck out, "Ah, ah, 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 ah." A crazy critical strike. He couldn't even see the palm's shadow. Yama Minamiya's huge palm was stopped in midair. It had been blocked by the heavenly spirit's violent strike, and it couldn't be crushed. Furthermore, this was nothing. The power of the Sky Spirit was in aura. When the attack hit a target, the Yama King's palm split open as fresh blood spurted out. The more he split, the more terrifying the expression on his face became, and his punches started to strike even faster. Bang, bang, bang. It was the first time in the history of the Yama King that he let out a sound of pain. In that instant, the palm of Yama broke, and the heavenly spirit was blasted out from his huge palm. His entire body was dripping with blood as he stood on the back of the Yama King's hand. He laughed sinisterly. "Is this good?" Without waiting for King Yama's reply, his footwork began to move. It followed the direction of the Yama King's arm and continued to fly up into the sky. A purple glow radiated from his body. Long Fei had seen this kind of power before. It was the power of the Dost that Yan Huang ancestor had spoken of, the kind of power that could turn one into ashes in an instant. It was incomparably terrifying. Yan Huang ancestor could not help but praise. What a strong power, and this power still hasn't broken through the power that my seal has released. If I were to break through the power, then the power that he has released will be even more terrifying. Brat, are you sure you can control him? Yen Huang Ancestor was worried again. At this moment, Yen Huang Ancestor was also incomparably weak. Long Fei grinned excitedly and said, "Why do you want to control him? He's my brother. Where did all these brothers come from?" His thoughts were completely different from the Yen Huang ancestors. Yen Huang Ancestor was worried that the strong energy inside his body would cause damage to Long Fei, but Long Fei was a complete madman. Moreover, what he was thinking was that the word control did not exist in a brother's mind. He was Heavenly Spirit Diamond, one of the 8 Great King Kong. He was also Long Fei's brother. No matter what he did, Long Fei would never think of a way to control him. The only thing he wanted to do was to make his heavenly spirit become even more powerful, not to restrict him. The speed of the heavenly spirit was incredibly fast. Both of his hands were dragged behind him. His 5 fingers forming a claw, the purplish-black, decaying power on his claws were constantly growing and thickening. It was as if 2 devils without bodies were rolling in his hands. Landing on King Yama's shoulder, Tian Ling leaped up into the sky and smashed down onto the huge face of King Yama. Ah, ha. King of Hell's child, die for me. Wahahaha. The sky spirit laughed sinisterly and arrogantly, his power also rushing downwards. Shwa. It penetrated the body of the Yama King. The sky spirit landed heavily on the ground. The corners of its mouth curled up as it lightly said, "Die." A confident smile. At this moment, the incomparably huge king of Hell's body turned black from being petrified and turned into rotten wood. His body's functions were rapidly flowing out. However, Long Fei's heart trembled. This is bad. At this moment, a golden light flashed from the body of the king of Hell. Boom! A thunderous sound rang out from within his body as his palms blasted out. Bam! A slap landed on the top of his head, sending him flying and crashing into the city walls. Uft! The sky spirit coughed out a mouthful of blood. Xiao Yan's eyes became sinister. Long Fei muttered, "King Yinluo's power has become stronger again." Wait! The golden light in his body. Where is his book of life and death, and the judge's note? Long Fei was overwhelmed with shock. Ever since King Yama grew up, the book of life and death and the judge's brush had never appeared. Could the golden light in his body be? Yen Huang Ancestor slightly said. That is his natal implement. This kind of magical equipment can only be used by him. In times of crisis, he can protect his life and release even more power. Natal implement. Long Fei's heart trembled. When did I also have a natal implement? Yen Huang Ancestor did not say that his idea was looking at the dragon salyer. Actually, the dragon salyer was Long Fei's natal implement. However, the strength of the dragon salyer was just too weak. He was unable to bear more of Long Fei's power. It needed to level up, and he would need to wait for him to become a supreme artifact once more. Then its power would completely explode, and it would become Long Fei's natal implement. In the distance, the sky spirit's gaze tightened and said gloomily, "Natal implement." He could also see the difference in King Yama. The power of that golden light completely dissolved the energy of decay. This made him unhappy. King Yama's expression turned slightly sinister as he said, "I didn't expect that there would be someone with extreme Een from the body of evil hidden in my ghost city. I was wondering why the Een aura in my ghost city had become so sparse these past few years. It seems like you have swallowed all of it." However, the eyes of the King of Hell were filled with killing intent as he stared at the distant sky spirit. "Today, you must die." With a cold laugh, the heavenly spirit spoke. Will you kill me?" The king of hell shouted, "Try it then." The forehead of the sky spirit twitched. The black rune on his forehead moved, and the Yin energy in his body surged out even more. "If you want to try, then go ahead. Am I afraid of you?" Whoosh! He charged forward. Rumble! The moment the two powers clashed, the sky spirit was repelled. King Yenluo only took a few steps back. Once again, the heavenly spirit rushed up and was sent flying. The king of hell only took half a step back. The third time, after the heavenly spirit was smashed to the ground, King Yama did not take a single step back. Complete suppression. Following that, King Yenluo unceasingly struck out. His heavenly spirit was bombarded into the deep pit. He allowed himself to be bombarded by the king of Yenluo as he wildly laughed. "Ha ha ha. I'm not human. It's not a ghost. How are you going to kill me? Will you kill me? Ha ha ha." The first chapter, asking for monthly tickets. 8_8419/2356763. No one could jump out of the six paths and not be bound by the cycle of reincarnation. If there was one, it would be a mighty saint, one that would become a saint, one that would become a god. Long Fei asked, "Ancestor, what do we do now? What will happen to him?" Yen Huang Ancestor shook his head. "I don't know. Although Yama Minamiya couldn't kill him, he didn't have the power to retaliate. Furthermore, this is the ghost city. King Yenluo will definitely have his way. There's still a big move that hasn't been released." Long Fei was even going to be stupefied. The natal implement had already used it, so there was still a big move. At this moment, King Yenluo's voice sank as he coldly roared. This body of evil doesn't have the slightest ability to resist. Can I kill you? However, I can cut off the hope in your heart." Suddenly, the king of hell moved, his palm pressing down on the heavens. It wasn't an attack on the Holy Spirit. Rather, to Long Fei. Long Fei cursed in his heart. "Fuck, I only have one drop of blood left. Fuck, still not letting me go?" A drop of blood. There was only a little bit of blood left on his health point, which was the kind of blood that would die if it was touched. The key point was Long Fei's entire body was in incomparable pain. He could not move at all. Seeing the palm print that seemed to cover the sky as it pressed down, Long Fei muttered, "Fuck you." Then he raised his middle finger at the king of hell. Even if he was going to die, he had to at least try his best. King Yama is amazing, right? This father will look down on you. At this moment, the heaven spirit that was covered in blood in the deep pit tensed up. Long Fei was his hope of remaining positive, if he died. Then he wouldn't be able to return the favor. Then he wouldn't be able to take his revenge. After waiting for 8 whole years, this was his only chance. His body instantly transformed into a ball of purplish-black fog and rushed towards Xiang Longfei. "If you dare to even touch him, I will definitely overturn your entire ghost city." His gloomy voice exploded in the air above Ghost City. It was also at this moment King Yenluo's movements purposefully slowed down by quite a bit, and a smirk appeared on the corner of his mouth. Yen Huang Ancestor's mind trembled. "Damn it," Long Fei said anxiously. "Damn, you say that? You're going to die soon. How can it not be bad?" Yen Huang Ancestor slightly said, "I'm not talking about that." Long Fei was a little doubtful. What worse thing could happen than death? It was also at this moment the purple-black fog that was formed by the heavenly spirit enveloped Long Fei. The heavenly spirit clearly knew that Long Fei could not take any of King Yama's attacks, so he had to protect Long Fei. He had to protect it. Therefore, he turned into baleful Yin force and rushed over. "Ha ha ha." King Yenluo suddenly laughed maniacally. "You've been tricked." Suddenly, King Yenlua's other palm struck out with a strange power. His voice was like an explosion in the sky. Give me 18 levels of hell. Rumble! 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 A binding force descended. It had directly bound the spirits of Long Fei and the baleful Yin force, and in that instant, a strong power exploded out from the body of the Yama king, blasting down like thunder. Crack! Rumble! In the small courtyard, Long Fei disappeared. The Yin fiend aura had also disappeared. There was no change in the surroundings, only that they had disappeared. King Yama laughed out loud complacently. As the lord of a region, the ghost city, how can I not take care of you too? Can't deal with you? The 18th level of the infernal realm. Each level is more dangerous than the last. Refining you all is simply too easy. Ha ha ha. The beautiful woman slowly stood up and looked at the laughing Yama in the sky. She did not feel sad, because she knew that once she entered the 18th level of hell, the power within her son's body would explode without restraint. The king of hell coldly stared at the beautiful woman before saying, "Arrest her for me." Oxhead and Horseface were resurrected. Pressing the beautiful woman onto the ground, the three of them disappeared. In another place. Rumble! A loud sound echoed out. Long Fei's vision went black, and after a few seconds, the strong light blinded him. It was as if he had come to another world. At this moment, she turned back into a child and fell into Long Fei's embrace, incomparably weak. Long Fei looked at his surroundings and asked solemnly, "Where are we?" Yen Huang Ancestor said slightly, "This is hell. 18 levels of hell. Here, if my guess is not wrong, it should be the tongue-drawing hell." Yen Huang Ancestor let out a light breath and said, "According to what I know, no one here can escape." Chapter 28_8419/2356764. Holy SH*T. Holy SH*T. Long Face shouted in a hoarse voice, 18 levels of hell. Can't afford it. Suddenly, the system sounded out. Ding. True Chi points, 100 points. Ding. True Chi points, 100 points. The true Chi's value continued to drop at 100 points per second. Long Fei was a little confused. The true Chi's value is quickly evaporating. Does this hell have the power to devour true Chi? The Yen Huang Ancestor said, "This is a place specially prepared for the strong. Once the true Chi is used up, no matter how strong you are, you will not be able to use it." F***CK. Damn you, King Yama, you're so ruthless. Long Fei muttered in his heart. At the same time, Long Fei was also secretly clear in his heart. Fortunately, he did not reduce his health point, or else he would be crippled. Seeing that his health point was only left with that little bit, he had a kind of inexplicable fear that even a little brat would be able to take his life. The Yen Huang Ancestor replied, "The attack of the King of Hell is actually directed at the Yin energy. He knows that the Yin energy will protect you. So with you as the bait, the moment the Yin energy comes into contact with you, he will accompany you to the 18th level of hell." Long Fei said, "That means if he didn't come in contact with me, he wouldn't be trapped by the King of Hell?" "Yes. I am afraid his physique is the most peculiar. He is not a human, a ghost, a demon, or a demon. He is formed by a mass of Yin aura that has gathered in his body." The Yen Huang Ancestor said, "Indeed, the sky spirit was very powerful. The continuous barrage of attacks even shattered the palm of the Yama King. This kind of power was extremely shocking. Furthermore, he did not have to use all of his strength to break through the ancestor's seal." Huff! Long Fei exhaled a long breath. "It's already useless to speak of this now. I must kill the King of Hell. The key thing is if I were to leave this 18 levels of hell. In addition, could Sister Xiaqin's 3 souls and 7 souls be here? Long Fei muttered. He wanted to understand the situation here as soon as possible, but he did not immediately move because he only had a bit of health point at the moment. The only way to recover it was through the power of regeneration. He needed time to wait. He would be able to use it after 12 o'clock in the morning. Right now, there was still a bit of time until morning. He needed to calm down and wait. While waiting, Long Fei did not stay idle as he continued to think of a method to deal with the King of Hell. Every boss had its weakness. It was just that he had yet to be discovered. Once he found a way to defeat them, it would be easy. After thinking for an entire hour, Long Fei still could not think of any good countermeasures. Humph. All right, since I can't think of a way to deal with you, then I can only think of a way to increase my own strength. There are only 4 multiple shadows, S. It's too few. If I can have more clones, it would be even more interesting. The entire city would be his clones. If that's the case, Long Fei muttered. Suddenly, he thought of a discordant scene. If we can conjure up a demon fox girl, then he quickly comprehended it in his mind. His mind was spinning. The power of comprehension was slowly increasing. 200% of the power of comprehension. No, it's still not enough. It's still too difficult to comprehend those moves. Even if it's difficult, we have to continue. Another hour passed. Long Fei tried to transform into the demonic core girl, but failed. There was no clue at all. He had no choice. Long Fei could only comprehend another technique. If I could comprehend the level of a level scion, would I be able to instantly kill King Yama? Buzz. Fail. Buzz. Comprehension failed. Failure. Still failed. Everything was too difficult. Long Fei's mental energy quickly sank into exhaustion, and he was unable to endure it any longer. It was best to let it go. My current state is simply not suitable for me to comprehend anything. It's better to take a good rest and wait for your body to recover before thinking about anything else. Heavily injured, there was only a little bit of HP left. To comprehend skills required one to be at the state of heaven-man unity, required one to be focused on nothing. Long Fei was unable to do it right now because he had no idea what would happen in the next second in hell. Any random person could take his or her life. Moreover, he had an unconscious soul by his side, so he had to take good care of it. There are only a few minutes left. I hope nothing bad will happen after that. Long Fei secretly said in his heart. Before he could finish, 2 evil spirits walked over from afar and saw Long Fei sitting there with blood dripping from his face, holding a small child in his arms. Just now, when the 18 levels of the gates of hell opened, it should have been him, right? If he ends up in hell with us, it'll be our fate. What it means is that I'll let him experience the entire 18 levels of hell, especially that bald boy in my bosom. He even says that I'm going to refine him with baleful force. In the blink of an eye, the 2 little ghosts landed beside Long Fei. Long Fei muttered, "Damn it, I can really do whatever I want." "Kid, what did you say?" An evil ghost coldly snorted as it held a hook in its hand. Long Fei immediately changed into a beautiful smile and said, "Ghost Grandpa, I just said, why do the 2 of you look so handsome?" "Ha ha ha. I didn't expect my handsomeness to reach such a stage where even men can be enchanted." The evil ghost complacently laughed and even wiped his face as he spoke. He took a pose that he thought was very handsome. Actually, Long Fei's stomach churned. He really wanted to vomit, but he endured it. Marshall can't be used as a meal. Stop wasting time with him. Let's take him back first and give him to Master Luo. Another evil spirit said. "Sai, calm down. isn't giving it to the Lord, pulling his tongue out with a hook. There's no point in doing that. In this tongue-drawing hell, all of you are mute and unable to speak. Today, someone came here with great difficulty. So what if he praises me a little more? He liked being praised as handsome by Long Fei. He turned to Long Fei and said, "Brat, I know you're ugly, but with that stupid look of yours, if you go out you will scare the sow to death. When you see my handsome appearance, you must be captivated, right? It's a pity that I'm not gay. However, don't worry, as long as you can say out the 10 handsome places, I will consider temporarily not luring you." Long Fei had scolded him in his heart for 18 generations of ancestors. However, it was still a little short of time, but Long Fei was still as radiant as a flower in spring, and said, "You're handsome. Everyone says that the balding man is the most manly. You have a handsome nose. People say that a pig's nose is the most handsome. You have a handsome mouth. People always say that a dog's mouth." The evil ghost heard that something was wrong and said angrily, "Brat, you're scolding me. Do you think that I'm stupid enough to not recognize you?" Long Fei raised his eyes slightly and laughed coldly. "I am scolding you. Time is up. Chapter 38_8419/2356765. Time is up. Time is up. The cool down of the power of regeneration ended. At this moment, Long Fei immediately used the power of regeneration the moment he moved, his health point also rapidly rising back to 1,000 points. It was really difficult. Long Fei slowly stood up and said, "You look like a pig. No, comparing you to a pig is an insult to a pig. You say you look like a ghost with your head off, pustules all over your face, sores in your ears, water leaking from your mouth, and dislocated chin. He's also the ugliest ghost in history. You. This lord is so handsome." The evil ghost was so angry that it could not speak. Long Fei took a step forward and said, "Handsome? You know how to write Commander? If you're this handsome, then you won't be ugly all over. If I were you, I would just smash myself to death. There's no meaning in living. No, that's not right. You haven't even had a fart that's interesting. At the very least, you should be able to make some noise with a little bit of effort. What about you? The most you can't wring out is fart. It's extremely stinky." Long Fei spoke extremely quickly, like a cannonball. He shot out continuously. Buff! The evil ghost couldn't hold back any longer and directly spat out a mouthful of blood. A bright red number floated above his head. Critical hit. 1,000,000 points. He pointed at Long Fei and said, You didn't say anything for a long time." His eyes rolled up as he fell on the ground and twitched a few times. He died. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing tongue-drawing demon for obtaining 1 experience point. True Chi. 900 points. Energy values. 1 point. Huh. The experience points is not bad. Long Fei glanced at his experience points. Right now, he was at the 7th level of the War Master. It's a good place to level, but there aren't many evil spirits. However, Long Fei was the other evil spirit. An ominous glint appeared in his eyes as the iron hook in his hand quickly attacked. Long Fei's mouth formed a smile, and his right hand clenched. Blade, come! Buzz. The dragon salure landed in Long Fei's hands. Not waiting for his iron hook to fall, a blade was placed on his neck. Try moving a bit more. Plop. That evil ghost kneeled on the ground. Please spare me. Please spare me. I am just a little brat. I have 80 mothers and a 3-year-old child. If you kill me, they are finished. Have your sister's mother. Long Fei kicked him and said, How many of you are there in total in this underworld? He wanted to level up. If he couldn't find a way to kill the king of hell, then there was only one way: to increase his own strength. Thus, upgrade was crucial. That evil ghost counted with his fingers and said, I can't even count that. Tongue Extraction City is full of our people. Please don't go, sir. Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei carried the dragon Salyer on his shoulder and laughed excitedly. And then he carried the celestial spirit on his back and murmured, "This should be your heaven, right?" Those who were able to enter the 18 hells were all extremely vicious. Their infernal energy should be extremely dense, and it was extremely beneficial for the heavenly souls to absorb baleful force. It was heaven. The sky spirit did not say anything, but the corner of his mouth curled up slightly. He laughed. The malevolence and ruthlessness in his heart continued to laugh crazily. "King Yama, you idiot! Do you think that I have fallen for your trap? I didn't know that you were the one who fell for your father's trap. The 18 levels of hell. I've finally arrived at these 18 levels." Wahaha! The power within the celestial spirit was laughing wildly. Just as Long Fei had said, this place was paradise for him. Along the way, Long Fei kept asking. The 18 levels of hell were divided into hell. Hell, 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 hell. Each level of hell had a city. There were also city lords that corresponded to it. The king of hell was one of them. In terms of strength, Oxhead and Horseface were the heroic generals of Yama King. The cultivation of these Hell's City lords were much stronger than Oxhead and Horseface. They were truly the heroic generals of Yama. In the infernal realm, there were some people that were extremely vicious and wanted to imprison him. These people all had one common trait in mind: valiant. However, being strong in the infernal realm is completely useless because it is impossible to obtain true chi. Without the support of the true chi, you are like a mage without a blue number. Even if you had the power of taboos, you wouldn't be able to use it. This was the most lethal part. To Long Fei, the consumption of true chi was also extremely fatal. In just an hour, he had exhausted 36,000 true chi-s. In a single day, he had consumed over 700,000 true chi-s. Long Fei's current total of true chi-s was only around 50,000 points. One day would be used up. As he watched the true chi drop bit by bit, he began to secretly become anxious. True chi. It was a hard wound. I need to get to the tutorial hell as soon as possible. Long Fei thought that once they were in the Pull-Tongue Hell, he would be able to kill them. This way, the true chi would be replenished. He didn't have to worry about anything else. You dare to take a detour? You're looking to die, right? Long Fei moved, purposely scaring the little demon. Actually, he didn't know if he had taken a detour. He only knew that he couldn't continue on like this. The little ghost immediately knelt down, saying, I didn't. The little demon was also secretly anxious. Why hasn't this guy used up all his true chi? It's already been almost 10 hours, so logically speaking, with his cultivation level, he should have already used up all his true chi. He was well aware of how many true chi there were at the 7th level of the War Master, but Long Fei's true chi was not used up. Seeing his flustered expression, Long Fei immediately slashed down without a second word, and coldly said, "If you dare bring about another detour, then your next move will be the head of a ghost leaving the body." I don't dare. I don't dare. I won't dare to do it again. The little kid endured the pain and thought in his heart, I'll help you if you want to die. After walking for about 10 minutes, the little ghost pointed ahead and said, I've arrived at the Tongshu city. There's nothing ahead. You dare to lie to me? Long Fei pressed the blade against the little demon's neck. The little guy trembled as he said, There is a valley ahead. The tongue-drawing city is within that valley. If you can't do it, you can just go and watch. This is also the passage to Scissor Hell. Long Fei walked forward to take a look, and his face revealed shock. It was exactly as the little ghost had said, a huge canyon. The canyon was brightly lit, and a huge city sat in the middle of the canyon. Countless howls of agony sounded out. This is the tongue-in-cheek hell. Just as Long Fei turned to look, he realized that the little ghost had already disappeared. And then Long Fei looked at the tongue-drawing city in the canyon, and the idea moved ice and fire. Shwa! Ice and fire flew out, excitedly saying, Understood! 360 search. Half floating / equals Xiaobai. Understood. Xiaobai Lang also rushed out of War Pet space. Long Fei said excitedly, Get ready to kill. Chapter 48_8419/2356766. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.